This is the place where sports opinions collide. I'm your host, Kenneth Beans. Joining me on the show, we have a fresh cut FIFO. Is that what you call them, Shelton?
Yes, sir. That's it. Yes, sir. FCF.
We have Spike,
What up, though?
Shelton,
What's happening?
and Nick.
What's going on?
So yeah, man, we thank you guys for joining us. Once again, as we recap, what is it, week 4? We just finished week 4?
Week
four.
Damn,
so
bro,
we're
at
on
this
week
point,
5.
we will be over a quarter of the season.
Yeah.
Happens quick,
29%
Yeah,
through.
we already going into week
fast,
5.
That's
man.
crazy. It seemed like we just started.
We just started football. Now it's week
crazy.
5.
Oh, yeah, that is. Yeah.
We waited forever for it to get back in this.
It's the best
I was
part.
about to be gone again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now basketball about to start.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, don't say that.
Basketball don't
bro.
start till December, so let's get
Basketball started in June.
That's when it really
That's when it
started.
started in June. When they playing the playoffs.
Basketball start in May. That's when basketball starts.
So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. But I gotta say, man, I shout out to Rob real quick because I know he's gonna dip. He beat me this week in fantasy football. I had to hear about it. But my old team struggled. I think I went 0-2. I think Ant-Man got me too, bro.
This may be the first one I got, bro, all year.
Damn.
I didn't do good in the draft this year.
Yeah. I got guy a chain went off. He was on the bench, and I had Miami's defense, which we're gonna get into their defense in a bit.
boy.
And the whoever these beat reporters are ain't worth a damn. They said David Montgomery was not playing Thursday. I was at the movie watching fucking Dumb Money,
Bruh.
and cost me, bro, 33 points on the
that
bench.
nigga went off.
I know, on my bench.
Wow.
And so shout out to Ant-Man and Rob. Enjoy it while you can, because Nick, we don't play for regular season games, bro. We play for titles. So yeah.
I usually say that for Madden, but I'll let you say it for fantasy.
Let's get into it, bro.
First quarter of business, since we starting off late, we just gonna get right into it. Continuation from last week's news of the blockbuster trade with Dame Lillard going to Milwaukee. It's some residual effects happening because now Jrue Holiday is now a Boston Celtic. He got traded for too much. I think 2 first-round picks, Robert Williams, and also some other motherfucker.
Brogdon.
Brogdon, another nigga. Yeah.
He was the
FIFA, I'll start with you. Reaction to the trade following the blockbuster Dame Lillard trade. We talked about Boston being a contender for Jrue Holiday, but now that he's on their squad, does this put them back up there with the top 3?
Yeah, they're number 2. You know, I think I had an
Above who?
Above Philly, Miami, whoever the hell else is.
Oh, so still underneath the Bucks. But
Yeah, still underneath the Bucks. Initially, I felt like the Celtics definitely topped the Bucks, but you know that was initial reaction. After I calmed down a little bit, really took my basketball vision and wisdom and applied it to the situation.
He went to ESPN and FS1. That's what happened. They talked him off the list. He was about to come in here and gas and
Nah,
some
not
shit.
at all.
Brian
Not at all.
Windhorse.
No, not at all.
Pat McAfee.
Not at all. Not at all. Hey, this is FIFA 24/7 all day, every day. Get it right, Nick. But nah, for me, it's exactly what Boston needed. I don't think it's too much to give up when you get the perfect piece for what they're trying to do. For the last 3 years, I've been screaming and hollering that they need a point guard. They finally got a point guard that fits exactly how they want to play. Obviously, he defends his position. He could defend up to 3 smaller threes. We know on the ball, he's one of those guys, and he could shoot the rock and create, right? Like, I wouldn't necessarily call him a playmaking point guard, but he can play make, he can score, he can take advantage of smaller guards. He's one of the few point guards that could go take a smaller guard and post them up, get easy buckets. You know what I'm saying? So for me, what that does for Boston's offense, now they can take advantage in a lot of different places. You could play small, right, and not be small. Obviously, you got 7'3" man back there. Jason Tatum ain't small. Jaylen Brown ain't small for position. Jrue Holiday ain't small for their position. So I like what they have. But here's the reason why they're number 2. Dame and Giannis are by far the best duo. Dame was
Arguably in the NBA.
No, not arguably. They are.
Oh, okay.
It's
You're-
100%
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Because who had the most paint points in the NBA? Giannis. Who scored the most points off, or who generated the most points off of pick and roll basketball? Dame. and they've never had a guy like each other that complements. They're the perfect complementary players.
Who's gonna run the pick and roll with him though?
You could put Giannis and have Dame run the pick, because now what are you gonna do? You're just gonna let Giannis turn the corner?
Giannis is really not a pick and roll player though. He's gonna have to do it. When has he ran pick and roll? He's never done that. That's not what he had to do.
He has done that.
Ooh.
What do you mean with who?
He didn't run pick and roll.
If you watch Bud's system, was Bud not pick and roll? Was he not motion offense? Was he not? Does Giannis not create from the top of the key? Giannis creates in that way. Now here's the thing.
He does, but it was easier to stop him when you packed the paint.
Exactly. But now when you pair him with Dame, you can't do that. Because now you're playing downhill. Because in that pick and roll situation, at the end of the day, Shelton, Giannis knows how to set a screen. Giannis knows how to roll. The motherfucker scores the most points in the NBA. So now when he gets that ball, what are you going to do? You're going to double team Dame and leave Giannis downhill with two shooters in terms of 7-foot big man Brook Lopez, and on the other side, Chris Middleton? You know what I'm saying? So it puts your defense in a quandary. Now you could reverse it. Giannis has enough ball handling and playmaking skills to run the pick and roll with Dame, right? He could come off of that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna double Giannis? You gonna stay on Dame?
You don't have to convince me on this the duo. I said arguably, but I didn't want to take it there because we.
I took it there.
You know, because it's on paper still. We haven't seen it in action.
Right. Who did you have in front of them? Who's the argument?
When healthy, I will say this: it's hard to argue against AD and LeBron.
Nah.
It's hard.
Bron is old. Let's just be honest. Bron runs out of gas now. Hey, year 21.
We're gonna start that already.
But it's the truth. The nigga's 40.
I just said when.
I understand. But he's old.
Disappears at times, so I can't.
I just said when healthy. No. LeBron was hurt last year.
No, but old is old. You could be old and healthy and still be old.
That's fine,
but here's the thing, though, right? And I forgot who said this, and I 1,000,000% agree. AD has the game of a number one and the mentality of a number two. Or three sometimes. Dame and Giannis, number one guy.
I get that. We haven't seen it, though.
Drink more water. Drink more water. You stole my thunder. He said Jokic and Murray is the top duo.
They nice.
Proven by the championship.
They nice.
And the fact that they're both
I gotta see them go. I gotta see them this season.
To me, they're the second best duo.
Murray's so
but they're on
far.
the court. That's my biggest
off paper alone, I'm picking Dame and Giannis.
I get that.
So I'm not even thinking about Joker and Murray, but I'm not. I mean, they won a title, so it's easy to say that. But we ain't see Dame and Giannis yet.
We ain't see Dame a lot last year or the year before that. That's my only thing is how much time is we gonna get Dame on the court. So they can be the best on paper.
No, they also asked him to sit the last 9 games of the season too.
Yeah, but even you take that part out, he still missed a ton of games the past 2 years. So we're assuming him and Chris Middleton are gonna be healthy, which they have not been.
I would say the number one duo is still Tatum and Brown, even though they haven't got it.
Man can't go left.
I mean, they haven't gotten it accomplished, but those are the only two people that have been to the finals together.
The only thing I would say
now they got KP.
LeBron and AD was in the finals.
Hold on. If you want to go there, then we got to say Jimmy and Bam. How many times have they been to the actual finals? More than Boston. I'm just saying.
That's a strong duo. I would put them top 5.
That's a strong duo, but that doesn't make them the best just because they have some type of
My point is, Tatum and Brown are still the best duo because they've taken their team the furthest.
Now
I would put Boston still ahead of Milwaukee
they're
because
third if you're going
they have
going by your logic, they're third because we've seen LeBron AD win a title. We've seen Joker and Murray win a title.
I'm talking about in the East. They number one in the East. I wouldn't compare them to the Lakers or the Nuggets.
Well, Bam and Jimmy been in the finals twice in the last 4 years.
But now that I got KP and I got Jrue Holiday.
Now that you got KP.
No, but we talking about that duo.
When was the last time we said now that you got KP?
So you saying Kristaps and Jrue is better than now? Chris Middleton.
If we're going 4 for 4, yeah, they better than the next.
You're insane. You're insane.
Absolutely.
The Bucks already have two. They already have 2 damn near defensive player of the years.
Absolutely.
On their squad right now.
I take Jrue Holiday over Kristen Middleton any day.
Do you?
No.
Any day.
No, Jrue Holiday's comp is Dame.
Did you not remember what
Jrue Holiday's comp is Dame?
But where was Middleton at?
Middleton was hurt.
Exactly. The best ability, the best ability is availability, and he wasn't there. And he hadn't been there for the last 2
They
years.
wish Jrue Holiday wasn't there.
I mean, but he was on the court, Ken.
Well,
He was on the court.
Unfortunately,
we gotta move on.
Unfortunately,
We gotta move on. For time wise, we gotta move on. But I will say, the Jrue Holiday thing with the Celtics doesn't. It excites me just based off of seeing him go against Milwaukee in those matchups. Outside of that, it seems like the Celtics are just like the 49ers, where they've been looking for a quarterback to do this shit. They got all the pieces outside the quarterback. And I don't think Jrue Holiday. I think Jrue Holiday is Brock Purdy at best.
Let me ask you
that
this:
team.
Do you think he's better than Marcus Smart
He
defensively?
is.
He is. But
That's
that's
okay.
No,
But that's like saying he's
defensively and
better-
offensively.
That's like-
He's better on both sides of the ball.
That's like saying Brock Purdy is better than Jimmy G. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look.
I've seen Marcus Smart take him to the finals, but I also seen him do shit in there.
Jrue Holiday is better on both sides of the ball, and he shoots 38.6% from three.
He ain't never been Defensive Player of the Year.
38 point.
Has he ever been Defensive Player of the Year?
But
He's a defensive
Marcus Smart
stopper.
ever shot 38% from
I
three?
get that, but you said that he's not better than him defensively. I
Okay,
disagree
that's
with
fine.
that. I
That's
disagree with
fine. That's fine. You have an argument there, but he's definitely better on the offensive end.
that. I give you that.
Okay.
So let me ask y'all: Are any
We
of
got
y'all
last
excited-
question,
real
last thing,
quick,
but we gotta go.
Are any of y'all excited about the Portland side of this thing in the holiday?
No,
games?
we don't give a fuck about that.
I
That's
think
a, that's a
in the long
5-year
term.
project.
I want
bro.
to see Scoop and Ayton.
I do want to see that.
Yeah,
I
and
think
you got Robert Williams.
yes, and I like the Robert
ain't
Williams
gonna-
pick.
He getting traded
Draft
by
pick.
that.
And I like the draft picks. I want to see what they get from Malcolm Brogdon before I can be all the way happy.
That's a 5-year
'Cause he's
project,
going.
bro. Don't nobody give a fuck about it.
Shit, I give a fuck. Just like OKC.
And how long we been waiting on OKC?
And
Lou?
OKC's here.
It's been about
OKC's
30
here.
years.
Yeah,
That's
hey,
about
they
10
here.
years.
OKC's
This
here.
supposed to be the
All them draft picks they got back in what 2012,
Ain't
kid?
done shit
Ain't
with
done
it.
a
OKC
goddamn
is here.
thing.
OKC
They drafted
is
a
here.
white boy who got broke in the first in preseason.
This supposed to be their year.
Shy will be top
OKC
3
is
this year,
here.
bro.
Let's move on.
Who?
Shy Giddies.
Shy.
Yeah,
They may be hyping Shy, but I fuck with
OKC
them.
is here.
Moving on. We got college football to talk about.
Why you looking kid?
Because I was like, yeah, Deion took another L. As quiet as it's kept, y'all, Ken was actually fighting for Deion in his last game.
He was in the chat. I couldn't
in the
believe
chat, when it was 21-7.
it. I couldn't believe it.
We was like, it's a wrap, Ken. He was like, nah, it's still hella
It's
time.
not over. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh,
I believe,
I felt
man.
that was
Spirit. I felt
sarcasm
the
at its
spirit.
finest. I can't
It wasn't. I
Y'all
believe.
didn't pick on.
I was at my
I
son's
picked up
soccer
on it.
game. So were my in-laws, because they ain't have shit, because they damn sure didn't want to watch that shit, especially with the way it started out. So I understood why they were there supporting their grandson. But I believe, bro.
So let me ask you this question then. What was your main takeaway from this matchup against USC?
That USC's defense is atrocious, and I knew that going into the game. They're pretty bad, and you know, like I told y'all, man, when you get embarrassed like that after all the talking and limelight and everything, everybody looking at you, get smashed, or a bunch of haters pop out like me, you know, talking this, talking that. You definitely want to at least show up and play harder, execute better. In the following week, show that, you know, so far what you guys are putting together really isn't a fluke. But I mean, it looked horrible early. I think it went down 30-something to 7 or something like that. But, you know, they got a couple of lucky breaks. Caleb threw an interception, and, you know, they managed to put some points on the board, and, you know, they made it look respectable. You know, because if they would have gotten blown out this time, it would have been bad. So, yeah, that's what I had, bro. But you see their defense is just bad.
Sean, what did USC prove to you or show you?
Not much. I didn't expect, like you said, we proved that their defense was what we thought it was, what it's been all year. At first, they made it seem like they were just rotating players in to get them used to the lineup, but they struggled early in the year with some of those teams, defensively anyway. Caleb Williams proved that he's a top draft pick.
Bro, crazy with it.
Yeah, he, like I said, to me, his comp is Patrick Mahomes. He's not that, but he's of that ilk. That's the type player he is to me. And some of the throws he makes is crazy, but that team is nowhere near national championship ready, in my opinion.
What, USC?
Yeah, USC.
No.
Do you agree with that, FIFA?
Agree with.
USC is
USC
not national championship. They're not a Final Four team.
I think they are, because whenever you have a quarterback and the offensive weapons that they have, like, let's be honest, football is an offensive game now, right? Like, you got to be able to put up points. But you got a guy like Caleb Williams, you're never out the game. So can they go? Yeah. You know, a couple of breaks just need to go their way. You know what I'm saying? And when you play with talent you know what I'm saying, skill, good luck will happen. And we saw that to a degree. Now, my biggest takeaway when I watched, and I didn't watch the whole game, I watched it in parts, and then I saw highlights. Colorado got to get off to faster starts, bro. Like they are, from a skill position perspective, they can compete with a lot of teams. We saw that. And if they can keep the pressure on offensively throughout the game, they can win some of these games. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I just don't understand why they don't score until 3-4 minutes left in the second quarter. Like, trying to play that type of football, you're not going to win. So I don't know what it is that Deion got to adjust or tweak or this, that, and the third. I don't know if they got to play different music in the locker room to be more hype or more prepared from get-go. But to me, that was the biggest takeaway because this was that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? If they could have kept pace, be down 10 points, 13 points, you know what I'm saying, keep that type of spread, you could potentially win in the end.
Lou, are you disappointed in Deion based off these back-to-back losses? Or do you just think it's a talent thing?
I think it's a talent thing. I think with the transfer portal, he can get a brand new team next year. He's going to be able to get pass rushers, which he needs. He's going to be able to get an offensive line, which he needs. My biggest takeaway from the game was Jrue Sanders, though. I was a heavy skeptic coming into the season. I think he went toe for toe with Caleb Williams.
After that pick, I
think he went toe for toe.
I would say
if they had the same amount of talent, Ken, I hear you moaning. Caleb Williams, they said there were several times he had over 7 seconds to pass the ball. Shedeur don't get that, but he still looked as good. I saw some throws. That throw that he made with the dude sliding in the end zone.
Yeah, that was nice.
That right there.
Can't judge it off that defense, bro.
Yeah.
You just can't.
You
Not
can't.
USC
But
defense.
can't
you
say
can
that
Colorado.
about part of it.
But what I've seen,
you can say that about all the teams
I've
that
seen
USC has
Shedeur
played.
show up every week.
Yeah, I know.
Every
USC
week.
USC is letting teams put numbers on.
No,
their-
I'm saying like
all kind of
Caleb going
quarterbacks.
against the teams the defenses that USC faces. They ain't faced nobody.
Man,
Yeah,
I don't know, bro.
he shows what I like
I'm
about
most
Shedeur.
impressed from that game with everything by
Nah,
Shedeur.
I would say
I think
his
Shedeur
poise is
Sanders
what
if he
Y'all
didn't have that
early gets
interception, I would be all with you, Lou. But at that point, because I put
That's a
emphasis on
talent
that
thing, though,
I
in
put
my
emphasis
opinion.
on that game because of how many eyeballs is going to be on it, and I wanted to see Caleb versus Shedeur and see who, you know what I'm saying, what they could do. Caleb proved to me that he's a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
if
he's
not
good.
number 1.
He's a good player.
I want to see if Shedeur can prove that he could be competitive in that, like at least be considered a top 5, top 10. He bounced back really well after that pick, but I think people are gonna notice that pick and be like, "All right, this is where you know."
I think it's
because you lose,
I still
especially if
think
you lose
at a
if you lose by
serious
one
talent,
score, if you
at
lose
a
by one
serious
score.
talent disadvantage, as he's always been.
But
even
if you
with
lose by
Jackson
one
State,
score,
it doesn't
that pick
matter.
comes up.
He kept him in the
Yeah,
game.
he did.
Him by
In that-
himself.
In that
Kept him in the-
offensive,
Shedeur
that
Sanders, he
offensive
kept
line,
him in the game.
knowing that he has little to no time and knowing
Yeah,
that
but
he has no
Shedeur had to play
protection.
a perfect game. I was expecting a perfect game.
He
out of
didn't.
him. I was expecting the
And that-
TCU game that he had. I was expecting
Nah,
that.
that's tough. That's tough.
I'm
Now-
just saying. I'm not saying 500 yards. I'm just saying like perfect. You know what I'm saying?
But he played good
that's
enough
tough.
to win.
Yeah, he did.
And if I had a
On
more
most
talented
days,
team,
he
if
would've
I had a
won.
more talented
If
team,
you're
he could have
going
walked
against
out of there
Caleb,
with a
that's
W.
What he scored, 41
It's like going
points?
against Patty. Look at Zach Wilson
Nah,
with
it's
Patty.
not, though.
Nah.
He had to
It's
damn near
not.
be perfect.
Nah.
Because it ain't no Chris Jones on USC defense.
Exactly.
No, I'm just
He
talking
played
about
good enough to
quarterback.
win if they had the talent. USC just got more talent on the offensive side of the ball. So
Score 41
if we
points.
go score for score, y'all gonna beat me. But if Colorado gets some defense, if they get some offensive linemen to Shedeur Sanders, he wins that game. And now we talking about a whole nother conversation going into the draft where he out-battled Caleb Williams.
We talking potentially just having Travis Hunter could have changed the game.
Bro, that's
Easy.
it.
But
The
potentially
haters-
on both sides of the
Why
ball.
you side?
Y'all, they waking him up.
Do you not like Shedeur? You don't think Shedeur is good?
I think Shedeur looks good.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Ken? He does look good.
Yeah,
He looks damn good.
But I got to see him against quality defensive competition. I haven't seen it
Ken,
yet.
we
He was
seen him
going.
in.
Ken, we seen him in major
Oregon.
D1
TCU
college.
went to the
Oregon.
national championship game last year.
TCU defense is trash.
Oregon's
Everyone knows
defense was
that.
good, though.
Not
And
per
what
last
happened
year.
against
He
Oregon?
was getting his butt beat in.
Who he got to
All
play?
right.
Alabama?
Pause.
Like what? Who?
Somebody
when you-
from the SEC, bro. Not these weak ass damn.
But how many
defensive teams.
quarterbacks do
The
we hold
SEC's
to
not
that
the SEC
standard?
this year.
How many quarterbacks?
I'm just saying, huh?
How many quarterbacks in college do you hold to that standard where you say I got to see them versus SEC talent? That dude in Texas, he ain't in the SEC. Drake May ain't in the SEC. Those are top tier quarterback
not talking
talents.
about Drake
Even
May,
Caleb
though.
Williams, he's a top tier quarterback
You
talent.
ain't
They
seen
don't
him
play
against
SEC
SEC.
defenses.
Yeah,
They
Caleb
playing the
was
same
different, bro.
defenses that Shedeur plays.
Yeah. Shedeur gets a lot of credit, like I said, for me, is poise. I look at more than just the stats.
That's
It's
what I like.
A lot of times it's how you bounce back.
He brings
because
it
some of
every
them
week.
dudes, man,
He's the most.
he
He's
brings
the
it
most
every
clutch
week, bro.
college quarterback in
I
the
don't know.
league.
I would
know.
want him
I
to
don't
be
know.
my quarterback.
Shador.
Sure. I
I'll
don't know.
take it.
No,
I'll
that's
take him
real.
over
That's
Dak.
real.
I'll take him over Dak
He
Prescott
live,
today.
he live for the moments.
Bro,
I
hey,
talked about it. I talked about it.
I would take Shador Sanders over Dak Prescott today.
Remember
ASAP.
when Zach Wilson
Bro,
was
y'all
in
getting
college?
LeVar Balled all over again.
No.
His dad ain't even saying
hold
that.
on.
His dad want him to come back to school.
Hold on,
When-
show him what you saying.
When Zach Wilson was in college, I talked about that a lot, about the fact that he would fold under pressure. When the pressure came, you see Zach get jumpy in the pocket. You see him throw picks. You see all these little shaky things. That's what scared me about him coming out. And that's why I said he's not going to be a good quarterback. Same thing I said about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold saw the pressure. Josh Rosen, they saw pressure. Their whole attitude and mentality changed. The quarterback, this great blue chip quarterback everybody had was done. Shador doesn't do that. Shador don't fold. I mean, he may not make, he's not perfect. He's not. But he will not fold in that pocket.
Which is
He
why
ain't worried about it.
I'm glad he's going back. Based off what his dad said, I'm glad he's staying and he's going for another year.
Caleb is too.
Well, Caleb is only if
you see
Chicago
that?
number one. If Chicago's number one, Caleb ain't going nowhere. Because I would just be like him. Why not? I can get my dick sucked all day in LA, then
I can
be
live in
cold as
LA
shit
versus
in Chicago
and make
losing.
more money.
Right.
Yeah, fuck all that shit. But I think Shador is best served if he stays one more year because I think he's close. But based off of like how again coming from a HBCU kind of division and all that shit, going to
Come back
top.
next year.
He's faced
number
the
one
most. He's faced the most competition he's probably ever had in his life in this month alone of this past month of September.
Wait,
He
hold
gotta
on.
leave
Now
this
you
year.
know where he went to high school, right?
I'm talking about legit competition.
gotta leave
You
this
know
year.
where he went to high school, right?
That's fine.
In Texas.
That's
The
fine.
number one state of high school football.
That's fine.
Gone way far
Did he
in high
face
school.
anybody-
Went everywhere. But Nick, the thing is this. The thing is this.
Here you go. He gonna try to. This is where he tried to school me. But go ahead.
Wherever he's gone, he's been a winner.
Okay.
Wherever
Has
he's
he won
gone.
these last two games?
Does he have a winning record? Is he a top 5 quarterback in college football right now?
He is.
Is he not the best clutch quarterback in college football right now?
Clutch as far
by
as
the
what?
numbers?
Clutch as far as
by
what?
the numbers?
By the numbers or by the games?
By the numbers?
Okay.
Haven't there been other quarterbacks that have been
Who?
winners in high school, college, get to the NFL, can't win shit?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lot.
like
That
what?
where everywhere he's gone.
Atlanta's saying Desmond Ritter is that.
It's been a lot. That don't really mean shit.
Desmond
bro.
Ritter.
But what I'm
Desmond
saying,
Ritter
but
wasn't
look,
good in
at the end of the
college.
day,
He was
at
He
the
wasn't
end of
never
the
as
day,
good as Shador Sanders is right now.
He was better than Shador in college.
No.
Oh no.
at the end of the day, we can only judge them for where they are right now, Ken.
Oh, now it's that.
Bro, he's not in the NFL.
Is Shador
So how
gonna
can we
get-
judge them
is
by the
Shador gonna
NFL?
get
I'm
this,
just saying that qualify don't mean shit.
Let me ask you this question: Is Shador gonna get this Colorado team to the top 4 in the playoffs this year? No, it did. Desmond Ritter did. So all right, shut the fuck up with all that. goofy
So
shit.
the thing about it is, I don't mind him staying another year. And the only reason
Nah, he
is
can't
you
do
want to see top level competition one more year before throwing him out there. We put him out there like we did Justin Fields with 1 year of experience, and we see how that play out for some of them guys. I wouldn't mind him staying another year.
I
He's
disagree.
Go ahead.
I say I disagree. I think you strike while the iron's hot. You go all the way through. You play with this season, and everybody's hounding you right now. Go to the draft, bro.
To be what pick?
It don't matter. They're gonna dissect you even more next year. Now they're gonna have more reason not to like you.
They
'Cause
won't.
You got more game.
Whoever dissects
you got more
him,
game film, so they got more
Caleb
reasons
falls,
not to like you.
There will be just
Caleb
like when
not-
Patty
Caleb-
failed.
Caleb's
There
not
was
gonna
Caleb
fall.
is guaranteed number 1.
Caleb's not gonna
I'm just saying if Caleb falls,
Caleb's not gonna fall.
we
Here
was
you
drinking
go,
at the
here
bar.
you go.
so
They
that's
be
what I'm saying.
saying-
I'm saying if he has a lesser of a season than he has now,
Caleb?
and niggas is dissecting him saying, oh, he ain't as good as he was. If he falls, that'll be to the end. So whoever's
and
lost.
worst, Shador is the third quarterback coming off the board.
Why?
After Drake May and Caleb Williams.
And I'm gonna tell you why come out this year when you can come out next year and be the number 1 pick.
But what if you
What
go
if
back
next
and you
year I get hurt? What if next year
Yep.
they got more film and say, "Oh, I don't think he that good"?
Yeah, but
What
why
if
are
next
you
year
trying
we
to
don't win
compete
no
with
games?
Caleb and Drake May, who they're
Why not?
crowning for some reason? Because he won't be.
And if you're
Those
the
are
third,
two
and
really
if
good
you're-
Deion
quarterbacks.
wants
and
him
if-
to be the number 1 pick, bro.
But if you're the third quarterback taken, you're probably going to a better
Top
situation
20.
than those
Than
other
the first
people.
two.
y'all,
right.
y'all think y'all missing. I think the reason why Deion wants him to come back is so he can be a top pick next year because the competition isn't there in terms of Caleb and Drake May.
No, I
That's
understand
it.
that.
That's all it is.
I get that. He
It's
wants
that
to raise
simple.
his draft stock. But I am of the mindset of strike when the iron's hot. Because what if next season it looks a little bit the same or worse.
Oh, so he ain't what you thought he was.
No,
not
he
be.
is what I
If
think
he
is.
look worse,
No, but I'm just
I don't
saying.
see-
I
I
mean,
don't
if
see
he
him
looks
looking-
worse,
I
then
don't
he
see-
But
ain't.
then you should have went to the NFL.
Right.
I'm
From
not
a
saying-
business
I don't think-
standpoint, you
I
got
don't
to
think
do
that's
the Cordell
possible.
Jones from Ohio State and be like,
I don't think that's
I'm going
possible.
there.
Sorry, man.
I never see the number one pick, especially going off of a Heisman and potentially a back-to-back Heisman, which is what they're trying to say. I don't see how that gets worse in that third year based off of just saying I want to stay in college and go somewhere else.
What if
instead of
Caleb
Chicago.
Williams come back? Then what? Should he come back too? Or should he leave?
I mean, Shador, he's only doing one more year. After that, he's leaving.
Okay.
What if Caleb Williams come back though? Do you think that he should leave or stay? Do it depend on him?
If Caleb is staying and Shador can leave, he probably will stay still.
Shador can leave this season.
I know what I'm saying, but he probably still
He could
stay.
leave either
His,
way.
his daddy said he's going to
Caleb
stay.
has threatened that he wouldn't leave. Though.
Caleb's saying a lot of
I
shit.
thought
right
that
now,
was
so-
fake anyway.
Yeah, it was-
but,
it was-
we
it
can
was
move
fake.
on.
That wasn't.
Moving on to the NFL.
You sure you want to do that? Nick?
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it, Sheldon. Don't worry about it. I ain't scared of no
quick.
smoke.
Hey,
I see
hey,
the
hey,
chat.
you see the
I
colors?
see the chat. I see
They
the
orange
chat.
tonight.
I see the chat.
Them
I see
bitches
when y'all
orange
niggas
tonight.
is ready to talk shit. I ain't worried about y'all.
Okay.
I'm a Bengals fan for a long time.
I know. I
always
feel
I'm a
you.
Bengals
You
fan.
used to this.
He always
It take a lot for me to get upset and panic. You know what I'm
used to this.
saying?
Oh, okay.
We gonna see. When was the last time Miami in on? Okay, we'll get to that later.
And we in a much better
we
place
go to
than
both
y'all.
your team. You claim Chicago too. We can get to Chicago if you want to.
That's
but
cool. They
you want to stick to
rebuilding.
Miami because you stick to the high hand.
Joe,
The Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to start with the Chiefs because they most recently had a very controversial win on the road against the New York Jets.
You feel it's controversial?
Yeah, very controversial. Lou, let me start off with you. Are the Chiefs – well, this has nothing to do with the controversy. This is just me asking questions. I know y'all always say, like, I put my own opinion on
Little
this.
spin.
So I'll start with myself. I'll start with myself then. I ain't going to start with you.
trying to sell me.
I'll start with this because this is also on the thread, I think the thumbnail or whatever. Watching that Chiefs game in the Jets, right? I've been looking at the Chiefs offensively. Last year, we were worried about Tyreek Hill leaving and how they were offensively. They responded. They won a Super Bowl, whatever. They let those players go. I think they got cocky. This is where my opinion comes in. I think they got cocky by letting those players go and thinking we can just play with anybody as long as we got Patty. Take out that Chicago game. And I'm saying take out that Chicago game because they scored 41 points. And you're like, Nick, why do you do that? But then everybody who plays Chicago, even that's the Broncos, has scored over 30 points basically on them. So Chicago's just shitball defensively. You take out the Chicago game, add up the points that they've scored in the other three games, divide that by 3, it's about 20 points. They're averaging 20 points per game. If you add the Chicago game, it's 25, which is in the range that they usually have. But you take out that, it's only 20 points per game for this Kansas City Chiefs game, for this team. I don't like those numbers offensively, especially in this year's AFC. I'm asking y'all, are the Chiefs, based off of that, on their last leg when it comes to this current Super Bowl window, just based off of the talent they have surrounded them with Patty? If you take Patty out and look at that team, I've been telling y'all, this team is shitball without Patty. We probably already knew that based off of the defenses that they've had in the past that he's had to overcome with. But I think they're getting very cocky with Patrick Mahomes. The fact that he had to go toe-for-toe with Zach. He actually lost. Based off statistically, like Zach was a better QB than Patrick Mahomes, which you probably would never thought going into the season you would ever say.
Ever, period.
Period. If it wasn't for that controversial win with the penalties and the refs, you saw that meme with the refs and Patty sharing jerseys, swapping jerseys. FIFO. I'm gonna start with you, but I'm asking everybody. Am I bullshitting right now, or am I crazy for saying this?
No, I think there's a lot of validity to what you're saying, right? Like, it is cause for pause when we feel that one of the greatest offenses, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it is only averaging 20 points against real competition, right? And it doesn't look seamless. It looks like a lot of drop passes. It looks like a lot of mistakes, especially in that Jets game. He threw two interceptions that we rarely see Pat Mahomes do. Obviously, he's human, so he makes mistakes, but in the manner and the fashion that we saw it, it's rare that we see that, right? But at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes does what Pat Mahomes needs to do to win games, even against the bad teams, right? If that means I got to run these last 3-4 times to put the game away and seal it and do a smart play, instead of scoring, I'm going to just take this little thing, run out the clock, win with grace. Like, Pat Mahomes is just that guy. He embodies that guy. I agree with you again in the point that you said that it feels like they are being a bit too cocky. Like they are saying, hey, it's Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and the rest of y'all. It don't even matter because Sky Moore don't look like nothing out there. Kadarius Toney got butterfingers. Justin Ross has only been targeted 2 times for 1 catch. So when it comes to the weapons, now Isaiah Pacheco definitely looks nice. He had a really good game. The run game, obviously, they have a 3-back system and they use them for different things. So I do like how they're utilizing that. But the wideouts, yeah, there is no talent out there. But at the end of the day, am I going to bet against the Chiefs? Hell no. Because when it comes down to it, one ankle, no left tackle, no Travis, it don't matter. Like, he finds a way to win. And I'm going to put my money on Pat Mahomes, just like toward the end. I didn't want to believe it, but I had to put my money on Tom Brady. He's in that echelon of quarterback regardless of whatever's out there.
What about you, Lou? Am I bullshitting or your mama on to something?
I think that it's a misevaluation of talent. I think that they thought the guys like Sky Moore, your boy from the Giants, they thought that they were going to be able to fill that void of Tariq Hill with those guys. They were little when they were fast. Those guys just haven't played out. I still wouldn't worry that Patrick Mahomes can get the job done. I wouldn't bet against him, like FIFO said, against any other teams in the AFC, even if he only has Kelsey. So I don't think that they've gotten cocky. I just think that they've missed on some players that they thought would be good. They thought that the people they were bringing in would be as good or at least just a little bit less good than Tyreek Hill, and that hasn't been the case. Tony, Moore, none of those guys have panned out.
And
Ross.
To your point, since McCole Hardman, since they drafted him, because all those guys, Kelsey, Tyreek, Hardman, who else? Even Kareem Hunt, all draft picks. And they that GM at the time, I think he's still maybe the same GM, did well. But since then, bro, he hasn't hit on shit offensively.
I think it shows
except for Isaiah.
They were knowledgeable of the fact that we need to replace Tyreek Hill, so I don't think it was cocky because they knew they had to be done. They just missed on everybody.
But
they
missing
picked
in
up.
the draft is one thing. Free agency is another.
They got lucky with Tyreek Hill. He was a punt returner, right?
Right.
He was. They turned him into a wide receiver.
They got
You're
lucky.
right. And
They didn't draft him because he was going to be a great
100%
receiver.
kid.
They
And
developed
now I
him.
think
And he
that's
worked to be
starting to
great.
show.
Right.
The
Yeah.
talent is starting to like flush out as far as we're not that good at drafting people and developing people. We just got lucky with Tyreek Hill. We got lucky with Patrick Mahomes. We got lucky with Chris Jones.
Hunt.
We got lucky with even
Hunt,
Kelsey,
all of them.
Kareem Hunt. Everybody that we're talking about, the pillars of that team, we got lucky with. It wasn't like they were high draft picks and they were heavily scouted.
But why they were heavily scouted?
Who?
Why?
Who?
Travis Kelsey. He called his brother, and his brother gave Andy Reid the confirmation, like, "Hey, look,
That's not heavily scouted though. Think about that. I gotta call your brother if you're good, bro.
No. You know why they called him?
brother great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I gotta call your brother.
But you know why, right? Because he had off the field issues, and he just wanted to make sure that, hey, is your brother's head right?
When I say heavily scouted, I'm talking about top tier talent.
Okay,
All of these people that are good, that are pillars in their franchise, are people that they've guessed on.
Nah, they didn't guess on Mahomes. They went up and got him.
He went 20-something.
But they went up and got him. That wasn't a guess.
I think it was. It was a guess.
So
no other team seen that.
But when you move up in the draft to go get the guy you want,
It's
that's
a
not a
guess.
guess.
I hope it works.
That's not.
I
What
hope
that
my
is.
scouting is better than yours because 25 people have passed on.
Well, we know
wasn't
we know
25.
they hit on Mahomes. We know they hit on Mahomes. My thing is more of, I'm not saying this is a diamond on their season and how far they can go. I'm just thinking of their window. My main point is their window. Everybody has a Super Bowl window. Nobody has as much as I even like what Joe Burrow said, we don't have a long window for certain opportunities, at least with the current roster of this team. With the way they've been facing, particularly just all like it was 17-9 with the Jaguars. It was 21-20 with the Lions. It's like these ain't really even the big dogs that we seeing them, like, especially what they had to go through in the AFC with the Bills, Miami, even with what's another team? Even with Baltimore, like these are some, like, those are the big dogs that we see, and we're seeing them struggle with just people who are just contenders offensively. So I'm just curious to see how that goes, and I've been saying since they've been letting a lot of niggas go, once you start winning with a lot of motherfuckers, just like how Belichik and the Patriots got comfortable with Tom to the point where he had to leave, it gets. I'm looking at that with Patty and them because it's like, bruh,
This team could be 0-4.
I ain't going that far, but I get what you're saying because they did play Chicago. They wasn't gonna be 0-4.
Well, 1-3. I'm sorry, I forgot about Chicago. Man.
14 straight losses for the Bears.
But it could be. They definitely could be 1-3.
But Zach Wilson had a hell of a game though.
He did. He stepped up.
Dead clock right twice a day though.
That's there you go. And that's what I be thinking. I'd be like, man, they would kill anybody else. He fumbled the game away. He fumbled it away. But everybody just talks about how he what I saw in the headlines was 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm like, what about the fumble that cost him the game? You know, Zach didn't play good at the beginning of the game either. So I'm not gonna praise this guy for doing basically what he should have done at some point before now anyway. So I'm like, he's
What's your takeaway from that Sunday night game, Ken?
Yeah, I think the receivers really just struggle against man coverage. You play man coverage on them, they lock down. And then Mahomes has to figure out a way to, make a play or find somebody open or, hit the check down or something like that. And that's going to be pretty much an issue for them. I think it really comes down to how hard the players want to work in practice. Would like to believe Tariq worked on his craft and developed himself into a good receiver over time. Is Tony doing the same thing? Is Sky Moore doing the same thing? This Rice guy that's really good against zone coverage, terrible against man coverage. Can he work on that to be the number one guy? MVS, he's just a speed guy, so he ain't really shit. And they need guys that can run routes and get open and beat man coverage. If they can't beat man coverage, then they're in trouble.
They don't have a number one receiver at all. I know I said they don't even have a number two. Mm-hmm. At this point, they don't have a number one or number two. Yeah. You got Travis Kelce, who's the tight end, but he's your number one receiver, period. And your number two is probably going to be Jerick McKinnon, your backup back. So they really don't have a number two or one receiver, and they're not getting open. And Patty is scrambling for his life.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I mean, we kind of lament the same thing last year.
Nah, I knew they was gonna be fine last year through and through.
Yeah,
it was just this year it looks different.
This year looks different
because it's like, all right, you ain't even got no names basically. At least with Juju, he was somewhat of an All-Pro back in Pittsburgh. At least with who else was there?
Cole Hardman made plays.
Yeah, he made some plays. He was one a couple
can't
times.
even get on the field with the Jets.
That's crazy.
Nah, but yeah.
But he hurt?
No. Nah, I think scheme wise. They got all those receivers for Aaron Rodgers, and he was supposed to work himself in.
Yeah,
but with Zach Wilson, you ain't going shit with that.
Nah. He almost got their ass last night though. he almost got Patty down 17-0, man. Hey, he's a terrible quarterback, but
if they would have won that game, that would have said a lot.
Yeah,
that would have said a lot.
They had a chance. They really had a chance. And Patrick threw about 4 or 5 interceptions. A couple of them were dropped, a couple penalties. Mm-hmm. But some of them throws, I was like, what is he doing? That one pick on the right side.
Well, he just threw it to the dude, Carter.
He just threw it right at Mosley, I think it was.
Okay. He was trying to
drop
Mosley
it. Had a hell of a game now.
Mosley was the dog that whole game. He was making all the plays.
Mosley was playing.
Okay, yeah.
He earning his money.
Quentin Williams had a really good game,
Jets
too.
got a really good defense.
No, they do.
Quincy Williams, his brother did, too. They both played.
I didn't know Quincy was on the squad.
I
didn't know that they were brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. His brother's the linebacker.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And Quincy Williams and Mosley had – them dudes was killing. Them linebackers was all over the field.
It's a shame that defense is going to go to waste this year.
It is.
It's going to go to waste.
100%.
We don't know. It's still early in football.
It's over. It's over.
Moving on to defenses that are a waste. We're about to go to a bunch of different conversations about teams that got blown out by other teams, but we'll start off with the Buffalo Bills blowing out the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo.
Wow.
48-20.
Ken, should we pump the brakes on the Dolphins?
Should we pump the brakes on the Dolphins? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Even though I picked them to win, but yeah, I mean, I think that they came out blazing. I think when you look at the team they played was embarrassed in week 1. They looked like garbage. They responded, and they are demolishing opponents. Since that horrible start, the Bills look like a different team out there facing these guys, and yeah, I think now we see Miami in some adversity. I think that they were smelling themselves after putting 70 on a terrible team like Denver Broncos that almost lost to the Chicago Bears. That's how freaking bad they are. So yeah, I think they were feeling themselves, got a little hype. But you play against a defense. I know people said offense, is where things are at. But You put a defense on a team that can stop that offense, then you got problems.
They definitely got stopped, Lou.
I don't discredit the Dolphins any though. I think the Bills are that good. They had a bad game. People overreact.
Are they still the class of the AFC East? Like, is it their division to lose? The
Dolphins?
Bills?
No, the Bills, yeah.
Because they didn't win the division
I picked
last
them to win the
2000.
division. Yeah, I picked them to win the division, but I do still think that Dolphins offense is a force to be reckoned with, and on any given Sunday it can go off. I think the Bills just had a really good game plan, and they got a really good football team, so it makes it look like that. But do not forget that this team just scored 70. They probably could do it next week, too.
Sheldon, correct. Also, hold on, Ken. I might meet you there. Sheldon, correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, we saw the Dolphins have really good offense, right? Tyreek Hill went off, and you was over here bragging about the 2,000 yards.
No more receiving in the league.
When they faced a good defense, though, every time they faced a good defense, what happened?
Was Tua playing?
Yes, he was. He played against the 49ers, did he not?
No, I'm talking about they went 8-1, then Tua got hurt, then they played bad defense.
No. I'm talking about when Tua was before.
Tua started 8-1 last year.
8-1. Ken, what games we counting for Tua?
8-1.
I don't know what y'all want to. What games y'all want to count?
Like,
if he playing, he playing. We all played hurt. Now when he has concussed and all that shit, then he's out the game. I give you that. But if he playing the full game, I remember when he played the 49ers. 49ers, they fucked up his whole thing. They said you jam him at the line, which I think what Buffalo did with these in the last game. You jam him at the line, the shit get fucked up.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what Buffalo did this game.
That was their Super Bowl, and they played like it. They played excellent football. Josh Allen was damn near perfect, and it was downhill from there. Once it start rolling downhill, that snowball effect for some of these teams is over, and that's what I saw in that game. They were keeping up for a second, but then once Buffalo got that little leverage, it was over with. That play with Diggs on the sidelines where he broke them 2 tackles.
Yeah, that was the game itself.
I was like, but he broke their back.
Yeah, it was over.
That was the game itself.
Broke it back right
we
there.
forget how bad the Dolphins defense is.
To what you're saying, though, I think that's a Mike McDaniel thing. He's going to be able to fix that stuff as far as the jamming the receivers and throwing off their timing. I think he's a good enough coach to be able to fix that in December. And now Buffalo got something to worry about.
Well,
Before you go, Fevo, let me ask you a question. You were saying, didn't he say last week they're going to average, 40 a game? Did he say that, boy? And I told this is what I be saying. I be having to pump the brakes on FIFA sometimes.
Because we said it was more
they
about
giving
Denver.
up 40.
It was more about Denver than it was Miami.
Yeah.
That was the biggest part.
Look. At the end of the day, they are still the most explosive offense. Buffalo came out there. Not every team in the NFL has a Buffalo style of defense, right? All of those pass rushers, big ass guys. Not everybody can do what they did against Miami. And let's pump the brakes a little bit on Buffalo. Like, Buffalo is good. You know what I'm saying? We knew that. Josh Allen has got his train back on the right track. But let's be honest. I don't trust Buffalo like that. And Mike McDaniel, in my opinion, is better than the Buffalo head coach.
What makes you say that?
What?
I'm just asking. What makes you say that?
Based
off of recent history or like whatever. What makes you say that?
What makes me say that is the tree that Mike McDaniel comes from.
Which is what?
The Shanahan tree. The Shanahan tree.
I was hoping he would say some goofy shit like that. Oh,
How is
boy.
that goofy?
Go ahead.
How is that goofy?
Because what's the Shanahan tree? What does that what does Shanahan produce from his own tree? Lou, you tell me. What does he produce?
Multiple Super Bowl appearances.
Multiple?
Yes.
I think it's
More
just
than
one
one.
as a
With
head
no
coach
quarterback.
and one failure as an offensive coordinator. Well, actually, both times he gave up 10-point leads. But
Regardless of what you think about his success as far as Shanahan, you can't deny about his offensive innovation. We seen that with Mike McDaniel. We see that with him every week.
Was there last week?
Bro, we see
I ain't see it, Lou.
Did
I
they
ain't
win?
see it,
McCaffrey
Lou.
just
Did
had
they win?
4 touchdowns. Somebody that you know gonna get the ball every Sunday for 25 carries, but they still can't stop him for 4 touchdowns. Just like the Dolphins had 70
Against
points.
what competition?
Just like the Dolphins had 70 points last
Against
week.
another NFL team.
Every offense ain't doing that.
Y'all, it's the
Y'all be-
fucking Denver. It's the Denver Broncos.
They just won their first game against the Bears.
Broncos won.
Against the Bears.
And
a
they
team
were-
that
and they
you
were
don't
getting
even give a
smashed.
fuck about.
They were getting smashed.
And they was about to
Listen,
lose. If
man,
it wasn't
It
for
was
Justice.
28-7.
Just last year, people were complimenting the
We're
Broncos.
not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Complimenting the same Broncos defense that gave up 70 points.
Okay.
Just last year.
Okay. And this
It's a new year.
Yeah.
All right.
We're talking about
this
this
year,
year.
the Broncos suck because they have a bad head coach.
They
I
sucked
was
last
wrong.
year too, right?
Yeah. But
Okay.
They defense didn't. My point is, Mike McDaniel, what's his name in San Francisco? Shanahan. Those guys run good offensive. They're going to be able to adjust. It's going to be harder for the Bills to keep up with them in December than it is for him to come up with a good game plan to beat the Bills.
So let me ask you this, Nick. Be honest with yourself. Would you rather have?
Honest.
No, you not. No, you not. Would you rather have Sean McDermott, that is 48-20 in his tenure in Buffalo, over Mike McDaniel?
I'd rather have.
No. Would you rather have Sean McDermott, yes or no, over Mike McDaniel?
I'm gonna answer your question. Trust me. I'd rather have the duo of Sean McDermott and Josh Allen than Tua and Mike McDaniels. Because I've seen Sean McDermott and Josh Allen at least get to an AFC title game.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them at least damn near win against the Chiefs in a historic playoff game.
But see,
Tua
now
got the
you're
ER.
changing my question because my question is solely about the head coach.
The head coach?
The quarterback can make a head coach better or it can make him worse. But let's just talk about head coach, schematics.
If that's the case, I'm still choosing Sean McDermott because we
Okay,
just seen
we
it.
just
We
seen
just
it.
seen the
Yeah.
head-to-head between
Yeah.
those two guys,
Okay.
and clearly defense wins championships. And Miami ain't caught up to that yet. They thinking that they doing the what was they doing the two step that little what was it the shit what's the shit called in Baltimore they do that one dance.
The line dance.
I forgot it. Damn, I can't even
know
think
what
of
you're
it.
talking about, but I
They
can't
was
think
doing
of
that
it.
shit all last week against Denver in Miami. Ain't do a goddamn thing this week because they got slapped in the mouth.
When Jalen Ramsey come back?
He don't come back till January.
December.
He might not.
End of December.
They need him.
Yeah, they need him. Yeah, they got hype because
They
they
need
beat the
anybody.
Chargers, the Patriots.
The
and
sturdy,
now the
get
Broncos.
sturdy. They was doing the get sturdy. That's what it was. But we'll get to I'm not saying this is an indictment on Miami. I'm just saying that they got humbled. Tua was at the press conference saying like he probably was trying to send a message to the locker room saying like y'all, yeah, nigga, we scored 70, but shit, this is only week 4, week 5. We got a long season before we even get to the playoffs, before we get to the Super Bowl. So don't get cocky yet. So
That
I like
70
that
don't
message.
roll over either.
Yeah.
Start over 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. A place I wish we started over 0-0. We're gonna get to it, Sean, because y'all niggas clear in the chat they've been asking for it. I can't escape it. Reddit thread, Twitter niggas is hitting me up. They don't want a black man to have peace. The Cincinnati Bengals, speaking of blowouts,
I was gonna say which one. We're gonna start there.
got blown out by the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Lou, your hometown state.
Cashville.
And they sunned them too. It wasn't. I watched that game. They sunned them.
I'm gonna start with
I'm
FIFA
sorry.
because this nigga been always talking shit. Is the Bengals season done already?
Well, I don't know when it's gonna get started because it really hasn't. And like I've been saying for the last couple of years, you know, you was on that bandwagon and you fell off, but the honest answer is Zach Taylor's on the hot seat. This does not look like any type of true head coaching job when you have that type of plethora of weapons and you have an honest franchise quarterback that we've seen do a lot with a little. This is just not what it. 3 points, Nick? 3 points.
This is the second time this year. 3 points.
And it's the second time, Nick. I don't want to hear about no injury, no this, no that, because at the end of the day, Joe Burrow played. And he was out there. He said, I'm good enough to go out there. And if you're good enough to go out there, you got to be better than 3 points because you're a franchise quarterback. So at the end of the day, obviously Joe Burrow ain't going nowhere. Jamar Chase ain't going nowhere. T. Higgins ain't going nowhere. You know, the running back, he probably out the door. But you know who's out there? Zach Taylor.
I'm gonna let y'all talk before I go. Who else want to say something? Sheldon, you got something to say?
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
I feel bad for y'all because even T has fractured rib now, so you may miss some games with T. Higgins, and that defense is them boys are struggling. They are struggling big time all over the field. That team is making mistakes, and it's not good when Jamar Chase putting out these one-liners, these quotes.
I'm always open.
I'm always open, and you can't give him the ball. It just looks horrible. It's a shit show right now.
I don't feel sorry for them at all.
I don't even.
Why not? Why do you not feel sorry for him?
I don't even. I don't feel sorry for me.
They knew Joe Burrow was hurt, and they should have sit his ass down to week 4, week 5, or whatever after the break. I don't know what it was that y'all are trying to prove to the NFL or prove to the other teams. Oh, Joe Burrow's hero, Superman, or whatever it may be. But he should be sitting out to at least week 4 or 5. And Jamar Chase said this way back at the end of training camp. He hurt. He's not well. His average yard per attempt is way down from what it was last year as far as throwing over 10 yards. He's only throwing 4 or 5 yard passes. That's not his game. That's not what he's good for. So he should be on the bench. So when FIFO says, oh, Zach Taylor ain't doing his job, I agree with that 100%. Somebody should have made the evaluation that Joe Burrow need to be on the bench until he gets healthy. If that ain't this season, then they need to figure out what they going to do from there. But he needed to be sitting the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season. That's easy.
I didn't get a chance to watch this game or the recap.
He ain't missed
You
nothing.
didn't miss anything.
Shit.
Well,
Outside of the first drive, you didn't miss
He
nothing.
didn't miss shit.
so Burrow looked terrible.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't,
Okay.
yeah.
He can't throw past 10 yards.
You can see how limited he is based off the injury.
They have a
I
game
ain't
plan
throwing
in
no
place,
bell.
Ken,
He
for him.
looked terrible.
Ken, the game plan was for him to throw under 10 yards on his passes. Like everything was short.
Yeah, that's the offense they got to run.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the offense they've been running. I won't say got to
They
run.
have
Yeah,
to.
you can't get blown out by the Titans. So I was like, something has to have been going on. So is it the offense? What is limiting them from being able to do what they need to do? And yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't get a chance to watch. So I just, when I saw the score, I was like, what the hell is going on? So I can't even really comment. It's just not good. The only thing I know that's different from last season is the injury. That's it.
Jake Browning and AJ McCarron need to be playing.
So if he don't need to be, he need to sit down. Then he needs to
Well,
sit
I
down.
mean, I said this when Jamar said it. Like, I agree with him. I wanted Burrow to sit just because I'm thinking about the future. And we have a decently early bye week in the season to where if he would have sat out for, like, the first 5, 6 games, we could have seen the second half and seen him a little bit more better. But based off of, you just paid a nigga, he's the highest paid NFL player in NFL history right now, currently, until somebody else get paid. So, and he feels good. And, Joe Burrow, based on how his personality is, he going to play no matter what, so they're going to throw him out there. I don't like the offensive play calling at all. I think it's very limited, even though he is a limited QB based off the fact that he literally can't move based on what I'm seeing. I still wish it was a little bit more creative. I wish our offensive line had a little bit more cohesiveness. I think we should fire the offensive line coach based on these last 3 seasons.
Fire the coach.
I don't think the coach is on a hot seat still just because if he's on a hot seat.
He has to be.
I'll let y'all talk. If he's on a hot seat, then Bill Belichik and Mike Tomlin are on a hot seat. If anything, Mike Tomlin is definitely on a hot seat. But we'll get to that.
why are we
I'll let
talking
y'all
about
talk.
them?
I'll let y'all talk.
But just
Y'all
talk
gonna let
about
y'all-
one team.
Huh?
Why are you bringing other teams
Because,
into this?
okay, FIFA, in the last 2 years, Zach Taylor has accomplished more than Mike Tomlin in the last 10.
Does Zach
Can you
Taylor,
disagree with-
does-
can you
does-
disagree with that?
Does Zach
Can
Taylor
you-
have a Super Bowl?
I said in the last 10.
Does he have a Super Bowl?
He does not.
All right.
Okay.
So then
I'm just
him
saying-
and Tomlin are two completely
But
different
what is the
conversations.
NFL? What have you done for me lately, league? Right?
But you know
when
what?
Mike Shanahan.
But in the last, no, and this is why you can't even compare that. Because,
How's that?
Because in the last 60 years, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had 3 coaches. How many
We're
have
going to 60 years now.
60 years.
To talk
So-
to,
so no,
to,
because- no,
to
no, no,
defend
no.
Mike Tomlin,
No,
we got to go
listen.
back 60.
No, listen,
you talking
listen,
about Jim
Nick,
Crow
Nick,
era,
Nick,
nigga?
Nigga, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. Is that a well-run organization?
They're
doesn't-
well run.
Yes.
How many points did they put up last week, FIFA, against the Houston Texans?
Nick, they are
How many
Nick,
points they put
they
up?
are still in a rebuild.
didn't answer my
and they
question.
and they had more wins last year than losses. Ever since Mike Tomlin has been there, they have won more than they lost.
How many points did they put up last week, FIFA?
I think it
Mike
was,
Tomlin's not on the hot seat,
Okay.
bro.
Listen.
They put up 6 points.
Mike Tomlin's not on the hot seat, bro.
Here's the difference.
they put up more than the Bengals last
When
week.
Joe Burrow comes to Mike Tomlin or Bill Belichick and says, I want to play even though I'm injured, they saying no. Zach Taylor don't have that luxury.
No,
Mike
you can't
Tomlin
say
don't have that
Mike
luxury.
Tomlin let Ben Roethlisberger play when he was a shell
And
of
they
himself.
won.
They lost.
No,
They
they
went
losing
14.
lost.
They went 14-0
That
one
was his
season.
goodbye
And-
tour.
No, they kept.
Ken,
it
how many
close,
points-
but
how
it-
many
They
points did the-
lost after that year when they thought they could
How many
win the
points
Super
did
Bowl.
the Steelers have more than the Bengals last week?
Just 3.
Okay.
It wasn't a lot.
All right, so
The
so
point
less than a
is-
touchdown.
The point is
what
the
you're
reason
saying.
that those guys aren't in the same conversation with Zach Taylor.
No,
Zach Taylor don't even have the resume to be like, hey, Joe Burrow,
many-
you
how
got to
many
sit
years has
down.
Zach
You
Taylor
got to
been
sit
there?
down.
No,
I don't
listen,
think you're good enough
listen,
right
Lou,
now.
You
listen.
can't compare the 3 coaches.
Listen, Lou.
You
Everybody,
can't.
listen.
Thank you.
There's 2 things that can be true. I agree with them to everything y'all said, but I disagree with Zach Taylor being on the hot seat. He is not on the
How
hot
long
he
has
seat.
Zach
gotta
Taylor
be.
been
He
there?
is
not.
How long has he been there?
He's been there since at least 2018, 2019.
I don't think he's on the hot seat yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
It's-
can't
He
be.
just came off an AFC title.
The only problem I
appearance.
have with Zach Taylor is the fact that they start every year 0.
The play calling
Right.
is
They start
the
0-2
fact that
every
they
year.
always start in the hole and have overcome doesn't it gets tiresome after a point because
Yeah.
it's like At that point, it's just coaching. It's not just, there's injury that has been playing a part of it, so that's why there's some excuse. But at the same time, if you're a good coach, you should coach over that.
Right.
So that's why I do agree, and I haven't been the biggest fan of Zach Taylor, but since he's got us to the Super Bowl and to back-to-back AFC title games, it's hard to really complain about him.
Right.
But at this point, when we're 1-3, and if we don't win these next 2 games, I don't see the season going anywhere.
Then
we have to go to we have to be 3-3 going into the bye, otherwise the season's lost.
He has a built-in excuse. Go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, the other part to that is we don't know if it's Zach Taylor's decision or not to play
That's
play
my
his
point,
quarterback.
though.
It
That's
could
my
be
point.
it could be an upstairs decision.
My point to why he shouldn't be compared to Tomlin and Belichick is that wouldn't be an upstairs decision. It would be their decision.
I think all 3 coaches are different, and all 3 have different situations going on with their team. The Cincinnati Bengals have more talent than the
Patriots
and the Steelers, and they're in different modes. You know, the Bengals are in Super Bowl or bust mode. You know, the Patriots are clearly rebuilding. I don't know what the hell they're doing. And so are the Steelers. So I think they're in different situations. I think that Zach Taylor is not on the hot seat because Burrow's injury he got an excuse. It's gonna save him. Now, if Burrow was healthy and they were doing this, then I even still, I think because of his past accomplishments, I don't think he would be on the hot seat because you did get to the Super Bowl, you did get to the AFC Championship last year. Like you've done shit. Yeah. So yeah, one bad season, you're not gonna get on the hot seat that fast.
Moving on, because we got to keep up with time.
Yeah, of course, you want to move on quick.
When we get to the Super Chat show, we can bring all this shit back up because, of course, they're going to say something. They always do. Podcast. The Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans blew out their opponents this past Sunday, which leads me to this question since we were talking about coaches.
Why are you lumping us in with the Texans?
It's a Texas connection. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Which coach is on a hot seat more between Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin?
I think Bill, bro. I think Bill. I think that organization are used to winning Super Bowls way more than the Steelers.
Because they won way more than the Steelers.
Right, exactly. But that's the point. So if you've done that, then your expectations are different. So when you see the one guy that they love that brought all of those Super Bowls to them, and he's gone, and he lucked into a Super Bowl with the Bucks, then you're looking at Bill and saying maybe it wasn't all you. We know, or at least I feel, that it was definitely just a perfect marriage between the two. You needed both to accomplish stuff, and that's what you got. And but I think that with the Raiders roster look, I think you've had criticism of Bill before Brady left, and they were falling out of favor with him. Then I think Bill is definitely on the hot seat more than Tomlin.
What you said?
I agree with that somewhat. I still don't think either one of them on the hot seat, though. I still think they can kind of write their own ticket. They will come up with a plan.
With these fan bases,
plan.
These are some of the biggest fan bases of the last 20 years. They ask for excellence. And you saying that neither one of them will be on it?
I just don't. I think that their resume speaks for themselves. A lot of their problems, a lot of people will look at their problems and say, we need to figure a solution out. But they're not going to look at them and say, you're the problem. They're going to look at it and say, what can we do to change this? Like, they're going to blame the quarterback, Mac Jones. They're going to blame the quarterback, Pickett. But they're not going to say it's the leadership of Mike Tomlin. It's the leadership of Bill Belichick. We talked about Bill Belichick a couple weeks ago, how he's a great schematic guy, and if he has the time, he's going to prepare his team and have them ready to play. Now, that was an embarrassing loss, but still.
That's an understatement.
Worst loss of his career.
It was.
Worst loss of his career.
But they're not looking. They're still saying it like, they're going to pass the buck because his resume is so
But he's known
big.
but he's a defensive coordinator, bro.
Right.
Losing to Philly 25 to what was it? What was the score? 25-20 or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
That's reasonable. Like that's like, all right, that's basically offense could have made that difference.
Right, but
38-3.
right, but like we talked about with the Chief game, sometimes you're gonna round out, you're gonna throw out one of those bad ones and get on to the next. Now, if he loses a couple more games like that, then we can have a conversation. But right now, you can't. It's a little early to be putting him on the hot seat because I don't think you can let that guy go.
I think that Belichick is on the hot seat more so than Tomlin because Belichick controls his roster. He's a GM too. And he's the reason that the Patriots have a terrible-ass team. I don't know their receivers. I don't know their running backs. Mac Jones was a bad pick. The line is bad. The only thing good, as Nick said, he's a defensive coach, are the defensive players. So if I were the owner of that team and I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, bro, you're not doing your job. Like, you may be a great coach. You may be a Hall of Fame coach, but we got trash out on the field, and it ain't even now that we're paying Tom Brady or we're paying Gronk or we're paying these people who are good at their position. I don't know anybody on their team. So where's the money going?
I could say the same thing about Pittsburgh, bro. Literally the same shit.
But the
difference
all
is
the money's on the defensive
Bill
side of
Belichick picks his team. Mike Tomlin
You don't think Mike Tomlin picked Kenny
No,
Pickett?
he's not the GM. Bill Belichick is the GM. He's responsible for all the people that come in and out of that door. Mike Tomlin is not.
What say you, FIFO?
I'm in agreement. I think Bill Belichick is the one that's mostly on the hot seat. It looks worse. Kenny Pickett, nobody really thought he was going to be a guy. Think about who their quarterback that they picked, you know what I'm saying, before they drafted Kenny Pickett. It was your guy from Chicago. What's his name?
Mitch Trubisky?
Mitch Trubisky. Like that's your options. Mitch Trubisky
They
or
went
Kenny
into a
Pickett.
season with him starting. I promise you that wasn't Mike Tomlin's decision.
It was the best available, and they still had a winning season. Bill Belichick has missed the playoffs the last 2 years. Mac Jones has not looked like he's progressed.
How many
at
times
all.
has Mike Tomlin missed the playoffs in the last 2 years?
I understand that, but he hasn't had a losing season. Bill Belichick is having losing seasons, and he's missing the playoffs.
Do you know that? Do you know how frustrating that is to hear from y'all? How much y'all? How
that
y'all?
he's never-
how much y'all are? Y'all be coming. Y'all come at.
That's only
y'all
gonna
come
take
at
so
Zach
far.
Taylor like he ain't done shit
He hasn't.
in the last 2 years.
He hasn't.
And y'all give this motherfucker
let
Mike
me ask you
Tomlin
this. Zach Taylor got a
the
ring.
velvet
Hold on.
rope
Hold
of
on.
excuses
Hold on.
when he
Hold on,
ain't.
Spike.
When was the last time he was in the
Spike.
playoffs?
Hold on,
Zach?
Spike.
to have a Super
Spike,
Bowl
hold
ring.
on. Let me ask you: would you rather have Tomlin or Zach
Don't
Taylor?
ask me that.
Because you know what the
that's
answer
irrelevant.
is.
That's
not
irrelevant.
irrelevant.
That's irrelevant.
That's
What
not
we're talking
irrelevant.
about. You know
Who's
why?
the better? Who's the better head coach?
You know why I'm asking?
Who's the
Mike
better head
Tomlin.
coach?
You know what
It's
I'm
an
saying?
easy
Who's the
answer.
better head
Mike Tomlin.
coach?
I'll answer your question.
It's an easy
I'd
answer.
rather have Mike Tomlin. Do you know why? You know why that's a relevant question though?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about what they have done recently, right? Why they're on the hot seat. Right?
Exactly, Nick.
You brought up why you feel Zach Taylor's on the hot seat for what
Yeah.
he's done recently, right?
Yeah.
Yet what he's done recently is so much more leeway as far as like I can give him
Yeah, but
grace.
he don't have
than
the same-
even Mike
But he doesn't
Tomlin.
have the same resume, and that's
The
the
resume
point.
is a big part for me.
That's
Exactly.
the point.
But here's the other part about what have you done for me lately? Out of those three head coaches, who's the only one with a franchise quarterback? The only one.
Zach Taylor.
Zach, yeah.
And he put up 3 points twice this season out of 4 games. That's inexcusable. And then he's the
hurt.
offensive guy.
Give Joe Burrow to the Steelers or the Patriots.
But a hurt
Watch what he
Joe
does.
Burrow, a healthy Joe Burrow.
It don't matter.
What you mean
It don't even matter.
It don't matter.
That's how bad Zach Taylor is.
No, it's not.
It don't even
Yes, it
matter
is.
what
Because-
Mike Tomlin would have.
because the-
As long as he had Joe
I don't
Burrow,
know
they
if-
would be winning.
I don't know if this is Ken's point, but to Ken's point, a healthy Joe Burrow we've seen in back-to-back seasons do what?
A healthy Joe Burrow better than
What have we seen him back-
better injured Joe Burrow.
What, nigga?
An injured Joe Burrow better than a healthy Mac Jones and a healthy whoever the
I think
Steelers got.
people had a really good point. Is out of the 3 quarterbacks on all 3 of these teams, Burrow is the best in the franchise. Mac Jones ain't shit.
But those are
Kenny
all the
Pickett.
guys they chose.
I know. So I don't.
Belichick
The head
chose that guy.
Exactly. The
Mike
head
Tomlin
coach.
didn't choose
Mike
go-
Tomlin
you ain't
has
gotta
a
go that
say
far.
in this
He
shit.
didn't
bro.
choose
But if he doesn't want that guy and
That
they
ain't
choose
his
that guy,
job.
he's gonna coach that
That
guy.
ain't his job.
How much leeway do you think? Again,
That's
if we're
not
talking
Mike
about
Tomlin's
leadership,
job.
how much leeway do you think Mike Tomlin has in the Steelers organization?
He has
Not in comparison to
He
the
has
way
a lot, but that's not his job. Bill Belichick's job is evaluating talent and putting the best shit on the field. Mike Tomlin's job is to coach the people that you give me. So if you're telling me about hot seats, Bill Belichick has done a far worse job
So coaching,
at both of his jobs than Mike Tomlin
coaching
has.
means creating your coaching tree, right? FIFO talked about that
Nah,
earlier with
coaching
Kyle.
means
No,
what?
FIFO
Nah,
talked about that
I'm
earlier
not
with Kyle
agreeing with
Shanahan,
it.
right?
Nah,
He's
nope.
his coaching tree and how he believes Mike McDaniels, even though he don't count Zach Taylor, even though he's accomplished way more than Mike McDaniels, he says his coaching tree speaks for itself, even though that would be to his point, but he wants to shit on Zach Taylor, so we let it go. So if we're talking about coaching tree, What are we saying about this?
So what I'm
Bill
saying about
Belichick
this
coaches
is this. Hold on, because you want to bring up Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel also has a lesser quarterback that the offense looks better around.
Is that not a franchise quarterback?
Borderline.
Just last week, he said they was averaging 40. Now he a borderline quarterback.
Because we don't know. We don't know.
What do you know, FIFO? Tell me what you know. I just want to know. What do you know?
I know that Burrow's better than Tua. I know that.
Do you?
Yeah.
His team though.
He been saying that for years, and now he don't never want to put 10 toes on the shit he say.
Hey, look, all I know is this, Nick, is that Zach Taylor looks bad. He looks as bad as Brandon Staley, if not worse. He has a franchise quarterback just like Brandon Staley. He has better offensive weapons than Brandon Staley. And the offense out of 4 weeks has only produced 3 points in 2 of those games.
And I guarantee you that he has a shorter rope than Mike Tomlin and Bill.
Oh, 100%.
He reminds me of Jason Garrett.
Yes.
That's who he reminds me
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor.
Jason Garrett went to the Super Bowl?
I'm just telling you.
I'm just asking
me
you.
of.
Why does he remind you of that?
reminds
Thing?
me
Hey,
of
you know
Jason
what, Nick?
Garrett.
Going by your
Figurehead.
thought process, has Zach Taylor won a Super Bowl?
No.
So he trash. Get him out of here.
No, I'm saying like Zach Taylor's accomplished just as much as Kyle Shanahan.
Get him out of here.
No, he's
Should we
not.
get Kyle
Stop
Shanahan
it,
out of here?
bro.
Nah.
Why not? He's accomplished
Because
just as
he's
much.
better.
How is he better?
So let me ask you.
I'm just asking how is he
would you
better?
would you rather have Shanahan or Zach Taylor?
Right now they're even. To
It's
me.
really
Nigga,
simple.
Fuck out of here.
It's really simple. If Kyle Shanahan had Joe Burrow, then he would have accomplished a lot.
Oh,
more.
he tried to get a Joe Burrow,
But he didn't.
We saw when he tried to get a Joe Burrow show. Who he picked?
Hey,
when he had a top 5
if
pick.
Zach Taylor had to work with what Kyle Shanahan had to work with, he
would've
wouldn't
been
even have
out.
a job right now.
Yep.
He wouldn't even be in the
out.
league.
I
It'd be
know
over.
we came from the bar recently.
I'm just telling you,
Are we counting them drinks that we saying the best for?
If Zach Taylor had Brock Purdy, whatever the dude name they traded to us, and whoever else in San Francisco and Cincinnati, then
Zach
it would be
Taylor,
over.
I mean,
Zach Taylor would be in unemployment
Kyle
line.
Shanahan has plenty of times to pick his quarterback, and we see that he's a horrible
He ain't no
quarterback
Joe
evaluator.
Burrow.
Let's
He ain't no
move
Joe
on. He gave Jimmy G hella money, and we seen what that happened. The Philadelphia Eagles
Trash.
win a close game in overtime against the Washington Commandos. Shelton, I'm going to ask you this question. Are the Eagles this year's Vikings from last season?
Absolutely not.
That's your best question of the night.
Absolutely not. The Vikings of last year were a shell of a team that fell on wins. The Eagles are a good team that playing around injury. Now they are thin right now.
Oh, okay. Here we go with the excuses.
No
boy.
excuses. They're 4-0. They're 4-0.
Okay, so no excuses at 4-0, right?
Yeah, there's none. There's
Okay.
none. Even if they had lost 2 of these games or 3 of these games, there's no excuses for them. There is none. I'm just stating facts. They're playing some close games and they're getting everybody's best shot right now. But they're still ending up on top. Now, I'm not impressed at all with the coordinators that we have right now because they're making some really, really dumb play calls and doing some things that I'm like, what in the world are we doing? 3rd and 11, we ran a draw with Kenny Gainwell, who hadn't done nothing all night, instead of, making a play down the stretch, which allowed them to come back, scoring that touchdown at the end and allowing them to come down and tie the score up. Some of these decisions that they're making, playing zone instead of blitzing the quarterback, putting pressure on them in the end, certain things they're doing just doesn't make sense, and it is not adding up. So we got new coordinators on both sides. Neither one of them seem to be comfortable yet. And it's a scary thought, but they're not the Vikings. They're still not the Vikings.
Ken, am I tripping to ask that question?
Yeah. I mean, I think that you got to put numbers on the winning side of the board, and they managed to do that. I think they have time to work out whatever kinks that they have with new additions and some of the subtractions that they had in the off season, and the defense is still intact. I mean, that's pretty much a lot of what they did last year. Good defense, and I think that. Given time, they'll get it together, and they'll be better as long as that defense there, bro. I think they'll have a chance because they are able to use Jalen Hurts in a way that works for him.
The tush push.
Hey, whatever works, bro. It's winning them games, man. It's winning them games. So they're playing to a skill set, and that comes down to good coaching by that organization. So and it's working. So it's succeeding. It's not putting him in positions where he can fail, and that's trying to make him some type of quarterback that can air it out like that, because that'll be a mistake.
FIFO, do you feel like the Eagles this year are the same dominant team they were last year?
I think that the NFL right now is looking for that dominant team. It feels like the first 2 to 3 weeks has felt more so like a preseason than anything else. And I think I'm lumping everybody in there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's had some highs, some lows, but has anybody really conveyed what their identity is? You know what I'm saying? I think one of the teams that has done that in an early fashion are the Rams, right? You know, with Nakua and the quarterback for the line, Stafford. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they have an identity defensively. They're still trying to figure it out, but nobody really has an identity yet. So lumping the Eagles into that, they are not the Vikings of last year. You know, obviously the numbers would show that in terms of, you know, winning close games that maybe they should have already been put out of commission. But let's be honest, man, like the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. A lot of teams don't get back, you know, the very next year. And I think the Eagles are just now finding their stride. You know, Jalen Hurts doesn't look otherworldly like he did last year, but he looks good enough. He's making the throws when he needs to make them. I think from a passing perspective, he looks more poised this year than he did even last year. But the run game, the quarterback run game isn't as dominant this year as it was last year, and I think they're trying to save him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're trying to run him as much. All that said to say, Nick, I think the Eagles are fine. I think even if they catch a couple of L's between now and the end of the season, they'll still be fine. I think they are the cream of the crop of the NFC East. And we shall see, you know what I'm saying, where the chips may fall. But I think when it's all standing, they are the best team in the NFC East.
You have them over the 49ers?
No, I said the NFC East. NFC East.
Not of the NFC.
I think the 49ers still got them.
Am I bugging, Lou?
Nah, they trash. The Eagles are
Don't call them trash.
they trash.
Talking like a true Cowboys.
They barely squeaked by these last 4 games. Jalen Hurts has been unimpressive at best.
Better than that.
They've been bickering on the sidelines. Their offensive and defensive lines is what's been holding them together. Mm-hmm. Anything happens as far as them getting late in the season, and it's a very high risk injury area on the offense and defensive line, they're going to be up in for it. Like, I ain't seen nothing out of Jalen Hurts this season that made me change my opinion that I had last season, that he wasn't an elite quarterback. I just haven't seen it. That's it.
They call you a generational hater. I asked the question. Some people said I got this from First Take. I did not. I was thinking about the Eagles this whole time because I was the one early last year saying that they had an easy-ass schedule, and then we saw that when they faced real competition, it didn't really matter. From a defensive standpoint, this year offensively, I was looking for a bigger leap because if you look at that quote unquote MVP season from Jalen Hurts, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, that's not impressive at all, especially in this year in this kind of league.
You got to add in the rushing touchdowns though.
How many rushing touchdowns?
Do you?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Because he had.
No, I'm not asking
even on the tush
push.
How many he had? It doesn't matter. Those were touchdowns.
I'm just saying.
count
As
for points.
as a quarterback. Though.
It was like, but yeah, he broke records. His most touchdowns ever by a quarterback.
I'm just saying, throwing the ball, 22 touchdowns throwing is not impressive at all.
Right, but you have to add that in. Though.
I'm not saying don't take him out. I'm just saying as a quarterback throwing the ball, 22 touchdowns.
But we know that he's a dual threat. We're not comparing.
What is he better at? What is he better at? I'm asking you.
What do you mean? Was he better at?
Is he better at running QB, or is he a good throwing QB? Which one is he better?
He's a better running QB.
Okay.
He's a dual threat quarterback, and you have to take into account what he does on the ground as well as what he does in the air, because it's a combination of the two. The motherfucker's not Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, where he's just gonna dink and dunk and then Omaha you to fucking death and throw for 400 or 500 yards every game. That's not his game. His game is 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, about 80 plus yards rushing, and maybe a touchdown or 2.
And that's gonna win them a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Did it win them last year?
It could have won them last year.
They went further than your squad.
What happened? What happened last year?
Did they end in a win?
Patrick
It
Mahomes
did it
had the
just
ball
like your
last
squad.
Okay.
That was it. Pass
Hold
interference.
on. 2 different conversations going on. What was y'all saying?
I asked him what happened last year.
Pass
why they didn't
interference.
win. Nah, it's not
James
what
Bradbury.
It was a fumble that happened.
It was almost first half.
Like the guy
They
that
was
you
up 10
said
with the fumble.
They could run the ball
They
better.
was up-
That
they was
the
up
fumble.
10
I'm
after
just
the
telling
fumble.
you, it was the fumble that lost the game.
They was up 10 after the fumble.
Jalen Hurts is a decent quarterback. As long as he has this good of a team around him, that he'll do well. The moment that the linemen or on the defensive or offensive side start losing, it's over.
My issue with the Eagles is that when they panic, they just run the ball and they do the tush push.
Same thing.
They don't trust Jalen Hurts to kind of get him
Because he can't.
like
That's
what
not
I
QB
think
is.
they do whatever it takes to win the games. and
I
that's
get
what
that,
they
but
do.
that also limits your offense too. When you're just like, all right, if he's off, we're gonna go straight to the run and just lean heavily on that because, like Lou said, we got one of the best offensive.
Well, that's the
lines in
thing
league.
because what the Eagles do and what you got to take into consideration is when you take something away, they're going to go to the other thing. We talk about the Vikings game, and everybody talks about that, how they took away – the Vikings played that crazy scheme, and it was taking away the pass. He couldn't really throw the ball that well. Well, when you ran the ball, he was getting 7, 8 yards a chunk. So why wouldn't you do exactly what they're giving you? Now, you take that away, we're going to throw it over the top.
Can you?
Yes,
Because when we saw the Super Bowl, y'all ain't throw the majority of
They
his
have to be wide
touchdowns.
open.
They were the
Y'all-
majority of
he's
his
throwing tight
touchdowns.
windows?
The majority of his touchdowns in the Super Bowl was
Tight
the tush
windows.
push and
He
the
can't
run.
throw in tight windows?
Jalen Hurts?
You want to go back and watch the tape from last week?
He probably has
You
throws
want to see these?
in tight
No, we can watch
windows.
this past week. We can see
Probably
the
got a
A.J.
couple-
Brown catch.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
sure
got
you
a
can
couple
find
throws.
throws in tight windows.
You can find a
but
ton of them.
I got
A
Shador
lot of his,
Sanders
a lot of
throws
his
in tight
throws are
windows.
tight throws this
not
year.
the ones that, a lot of the
We're
ones that
gonna watch.
I wouldn't
like,
depend on that if the game depended on
we
it.
gonna watch a highlight tape. I trust him
wouldn't
more than I
depend
trust a
on-
lot of these other
Would you
quarterbacks.
depend on him making clutch throws?
Yes, I would. Yes, sir.
Based off
he
what?
he did it
Based
this
off
week.
what? Based off what?
He did it this week.
Doing it in a Week 5 game?
He did it this week.
'Cause
Based
he
on the fact
he ain't
that
doing it
he's-
in the Super Bowl.
based on
he
the
ain't doing
fact
it in the
that he's
playoffs.
4-0, and
He ain't
how
never
many-
done it before.
he's 4-0.
I'm not saying y'all. There's by no means y'all 4-0. There's no reason to panic at all. Y'all could be fine with the offense y'all got. Y'all could potentially win the Super Bowl with the offense y'all got. However, I do know there are some niggas that throw the ball on the other in the league.
Yeah.
And if y'all get down 14 points, I want to see if we're gonna do the tush push.
They got
moving
down
forward.
10 points this past week and came back. They come back. They can do it. We've seen them do it.
Not against Sam
I
Howell.
was just about to say.
What are we talking about? here?
It don't really matter who
It
it
does.
is. We saw him go toe for toe with Patty and outplay Patrick Mahomes.
No,
in
he
the
did
Super
not.
Bowl.
All the
Did he
Redskins-
not outplay him?
Did
in
he
the
win
Super
the
Bowl?
game?
No.
All
Y'all
the
not? He
Washington-
did not play him
Did
in
he
the
win
Super
the
Bowl.
game?
That was one of the
football had
greatest
to do
Super
was
Bowl
go for
performances ever. Y'all ain't gonna
Not passing
downplay
wise.
that.
But
like
it
that.
wasn't-
Yes, it
he
was
wasn't
passing
better than
wise.
Patty.
He wasn't
How many
better than
yards?
Patty.
He
He
was 300
wasn't
yards,
better
over
than
300
Patty.
yards.
Did he win the game?
lost.
No, he had more yards.
lost.
He can't play defense.
And did they lose because of him?
He
or-
can't play. They did not lose because of him. And
They
y'all
lose-
are not gonna put that on
Did
him.
it
He
deep?
lost.
Let's take a poll. They did not lose. Oh, they lost
did.
because of him.
Yes.
And he played defense.
He
The
fumbled
fumble,
ball, he
is an
lost.
offensive thing.
The
The
fumble
fumble was
happened.
the
They were
biggest play
up
of the
10
game.
after that.
They
Y'all
lost.
And they
still
can't
got
not let
10.
the Chiefs come back and win the game.
They were up 10 points at
They
half
lost.
after the fumble.
They
He came back
lost.
after the fumble and scored 4 touchdowns.
they lost,
How
man.
many touchdowns did he have? Y'all
They
missed
lost.
because he
y'all
put him in
didn't
the
watch
hole
game.
based off
They
the
lost.
fumble.
He dug him right out the hole.
I don't even know what we talking
He
about.
did
Lost.
shit.
What about that?
He still
They
got
fumbled
buried.
and
The
lost.
fumble
Come on,
lost the
Shelton.
game. Oh no! Come on.
You just criticized Zach Wilson for
fumbling
the ball
at the
and
end of the
losing
game. For
losing.
fumbling
lost.
at
It
the
still
end
cost him
of
the
the
game,
game that
bro.
cost him.
It was a
did
costly
not.
fumble, bro.
No, it definitely was a
If
costly
it's not
fumble,
that-
but it
it's
did
still a
not
part
cost
of
him the
It
game.
cost him the game.
It did not cost him the game. You can't say that in the first quarter.
100%.
You can't say that after you took the lead. Zach Wilson was driving to
he
take
won
the
it.
lead.
Bro, Kansas
and he
City
fumbled
was
the ball.
struggling, bro.
What?
Until that fumble.
They
Who?
were struggling
In which game?
in the Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl.
offensively in the first half.
Right, and they were losing. But Jalen Hurts never
Until
gave
Jalen
up
Hurts
none of
fumbled.
his.
Until
Look at his
Jalen Hurts
stats.
fumbled.
I
We
remember.
gonna
I
go back and watch
watched,
the
I
stats.
watched the game,
stats
bro.
don't lead to wins.
We're gonna
bro.
go back and watch
Not
the
all-
game so
okay.
y'all
We
can
ain't
see
got
it.
to. We know. We remember. You don't.
That fumble was costly, bro.
It cost him the
I'm
game.
sorry. I can't.
Especially when it's 30-35.
That's crazy.
Let's move on.
No.
We're moving on to the next third quarter.
Y'all
We're
are
going to our
crazy.
weekly picks.
Y'all are crazy.
Jordan, right? He choked the Super Bowl away, bro.
Y'all must didn't watch the game.
We all watched it.
Y'all didn't watch the game because you stopped watching after that fumble. Then you missed the whole great
Yeah,
game.
we knew that fumble was. We knew that fumble turned the game
That was the
around.
end.
So y'all
I
said,
saw 3 tush pushes after
y'all
the
said he
fumble.
needed a perfect game. He couldn't do nothing
That's
wrong.
not a perfect game if you fumble.
You
and
said
pick
he
six.
played a perfect game. You
I said he
that.
played one of the best Super Bowl performances
Yeah,
you've
that's
ever
not a
seen.
perfect game. Nigga.
One of the best you've ever seen.
Let's move on to this. The picks. I updated the poll or the standings. Ken is still lead dog.
God damn, what the hell?
13-5.
I'm right there.
FIFO right up there next to him.
I'm right there, kid.
12-6. Lou, you right after that, 11-7. Shelton's 500.
Dang.
I've been gambling on my picks. I'm the
You been
dog.
taking too many
no,
Bengals
no,
picks.
no,
He has too many Bengals.
He hasn't been gambling.
He
just tried. Just like his tape. He just tried.
Did you hear
And then
Tyler
go to
say
record.
His voice went from that.
Hey,
I
he tried to
haven't
say it
low.
low.
And then go to record right there. He trash.
I choose. Hey, Lou. Whenever I say something, I stand 10 toes down.
And you under 500.
I'm not.
What's your record, Nick?
I'm not flip.
What's your record, Nick?
He's Joe Burrow. He playing hurt.
What's your record, Nick?
I ain't flip flopping like something.
What's your record, Nick?
Let's move on to
No, you all said our record. What's your record?
I'm 8-10. I'm 8-10.
Under 500, and you gonna listen to this man on his football tapes. You know how much money you lose if you listen to him? Come on.
I bet you if you bet the over and under on that Bills Miami game over 40, whatever. Yeah, nah, it ain't happening. All right, week 5, I gotta come back. So I'm gonna make some objective picks. I'm not picking my heart no more. Week 5, we have our picks in. We also, thanks y'all to the Reddit thread that I put up for y'all picking the extra pick of the week. I'll let y'all know what that is a little bit later. But y'all know the standings, so I got to come back. So let's go with these next 5 games for week 5. We starting off with Jacksonville versus Buffalo overseas. Jacksonville's been over there for about 2 weeks
in a row.
You know what? I have a conspiracy. I was like,
kick them out
they
the US.
they even Duval County.
That's where they gonna be.
They gonna be in London.
They said their owner was in negotiations about that.
Trevor Lawrence look like he from Europe.
He fit in with the hair.
Yeah. You like that motherfucker from Shrek. Lord Farquaad, whatever the fuck that nigga name
He
is.
do look like Lord Farquaad.
But yeah, we got Jacksonville versus Buffalo in London. I got Buffalo. Lou, what say you?
I have Buffalo as well.
FIFO?
Buffalo. Man, we ain't got no graphics.
I was just about to say, I want to make sure.
Yeah, I don't have them over here. So
we making all these picks. What for, man?
check.
That's 3 weeks in a row now. I'm gonna just go back to not sending this shit.
Did you
now.
turn yours in?
Yes.
He finally turned his in. That's when
Now he wants the graphics.
now he upset.
I had
three
to
weeks in a
send
row.
it to him. I'll be sending it to him after.
I don't need it no more, man. I've been on it.
You been looking? Okay.
I've been on it.
Sheldon, what about you?
I got Jacksonville.
Ken, what about you?
Buffalo.
Why Jacksonville, Sheldon?
Because they've been over there for a couple weeks, and I think they ain't really had much to do but focus on football. And the fact that I think Buffalo got up for that Miami game.
Never mind, I got it.
And they was hype. So I think that it's kind of a letdown.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville was in a must-win game last week against the Falcons. I hate to see how bad Derek Ritter played as a UC fan. But
How bad he is.
He got him off to the best start of their season though at 2-1 since 2017. So I'll say that. But they're 500. But I mean, shit, Jacksonville was 1-2 going into that game. That was a must-win for them if they wanted to keep any of their standings alive within their own division at that point. Because we see how C.J. Stroud playing. That motherfucker did. We thought the Texans was gonna be shitball this year. We may have to reconsider. They may be the Seattle Seahawks for this year.
Stroud better than Justin Fields.
That's not saying much. But I'll be interested to see who wins this. I think Buffalo can easily win this, but if Jacksonville gets the upset, I wouldn't be surprised. Up next, it's not that anticipated just for the fact that Aaron Rodgers is hurt, but the shit talking from the offseason has bled into this season. We've even talked about this on this platform, and we're finally going to get to it. Week 5 is already here, Lou. We got the New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos in Colorado. Sean Payton, boy, this a must win. This is a must. I mean, against the Bears, it's hard.
Win.
We always say must win. The Bears last week was a must win. If they would have lost that, Sean Payton would have been like, all right, nigga, we may have to get your ass up out of here.
Yeah.
But this one, when you talk shit, and you're going against Nathaniel Hackett.
And you've been shitty all season. Like you had to come back against 21-7 down against the Bears. Yeah, it's a must win. I got
And the last time we saw you, they lost in Miami 70 points. But yeah.
I got Denver.
You got Denver, Lou?
Yep.
I got the Jets.
I got the Jets. Ain't no way in hell I'm picking that overrated dude, Sean Payton.
Y'all can't put y'all faith in Zach Wilson.
You putting your
faith in John?
I don't have faith in either one. If I could pick the
I'll pick
tie
Russell Wilson
for
over Zach
0-0, then I would.
I picked the defense. That's why I picked the Jets.
Yes.
Because Russell Wilson's struggling. Zach Wilson just needs to play another, good to decent game, and they'll be in the game. And I don't trust Russell anymore. I trust that Jets defense more than anything. So to me, I think that's going to be the difference.
That's the best of the 4 units. You are correct, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets won. But I picked the Broncos because they're at home, and they're coming off a win. So maybe
The Jets are coming off of a
More
moral
victory.
victory.
Yeah, I'll say more victory.
Like they feel confident now.
They
Yeah,
do.
okay, maybe the white boy got a little something.
They do. Crazy though.
Up next, a battle of the AFC North. This is actually huge, I would say, for both teams. When it comes to the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is coming off of what? Is it just one loss or back-to-back losses?
I think back.
No, it was one loss.
Who?
They won the week before.
Pittsburgh.
They beat
Yeah, one
Cleveland. They
loss.
beat Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just coming off one loss. Baltimore is coming off of a win, but I think this is the first time we've seen so far this season that actually looked like the offense was humming. Lamar looked really good.
Against a really good defense.
Yeah, he had 2 really good throws against Andrews for touchdowns. But this is a battle with them, between the Ravens and the Steelers. So I'm picking Baltimore in this because they got the better QB. What about you, Lou?
I pick Baltimore as well. I don't believe in Kenny Pickett anymore, and I know he's hurt, but I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. But Baltimore looked good last week, like you said. Give me the Ravens.
Hey, Lamar Jackson wins 70% of his games, and he dominates the AFC North. Give me Baltimore.
What about you, Sheldon?
Give me Baltimore as well. I just don't feel the synergy is right in Pittsburgh. I just don't see the offense doing anything. I don't.
Okay.
I got Baltimore too. It looks like it's a clean sweep. Yeah, you just can't. I don't care how good C.J. Stroud is. You just cannot lose a game like that to the Houston Texans and only put up 6 points. Injury or no injury, that's just pathetic.
You know how many sacks T.J. Watt had?
How many?
0.
That's just pathetic, bro. You just can't. You just
And on top of that, it wasn't even like they
bad.
couldn't. It wasn't like they couldn't move the ball. They was moving the ball. They just couldn't punch it in.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miko Ryans.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm like last year I saw things in Kenny Pickett down the stretch, and I was like, okay, I think there's a guy in there somewhere. Nah, I'm getting Mac Jones
I'm
vibes.
out of it now. I'm out of it now. Yeah,
that's a good
You're
call.
right. Last
Yeah.
year, that 100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. Last year, I thought, oh, okay. Now
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh.
Like he'll
Yeah.
be solid sometimes, but trash the others.
Yep.
Never spectacular, but decent enough.
A Pittsburgh
You thought he
quarterback,
could make
like
the
that
turn.
kind of
Right.
Yeah,
You thought
exactly.
he could make the turn, and it
Yeah,
And they
but
wanted
nah.
they wanted the Pickett to Pickens thing happen so
They
bad.
wanted it to be bad, right?
And they got a guy in Pickens, bro, but they got that
They
quarterback
need a better
situation is
quarterback.
not,
Pickens
is not
ain't-
good.
Pickett ain't
and
good.
the OC
And Najee
isn't
is
good.
garbage.
Yeah, Najee.
Yeah, Najee's not-
I was a big on Najee. Now, not anymore. He looked bad last year. He looks
Yeah.
He like he
even
running
worse
his
I'd
mud.
rather
this
play
year.
the
He like he
backup.
running
What's
in
his
mud.
name? Warren need to be playing more.
Warren should start.
Can't get any worse. At least he can outrun somebody.
Yeah,
And,
this is the
and he
thing.
can catch the ball.
This is the thing to me about Pittsburgh right now is that they did the best at where they picked. You look at the draft, like where they picked Kenny Pickett. It's not like they reached. They got
and they wanted Malik Willis. And look at how he's,
You know what I'm saying?
So it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. Najee was a good pick where they picked him when they picked him. So it's not like they reached for guys that we had question marks. It's like, well, you
Doing
did
the
it.
best with what we got.
With what they got.
Yeah.
I think at this point where Pittsburgh is, I think it will behoove them to move on from T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt don't score no points.
What? That's
You
the best player.
can't.
He's saying they're the best commodity he got.
Exactly. Look. We've seen the blueprint for this before. Part of that Pittsburgh defense is Minkah Fitzpatrick. Who got rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick was the Dolphins. What did they do with all of those draft picks? You see what they built up over there now, right? Another person that they gave up was Laramie Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in the game. You saw how many draft picks they got. You see what they did with those guys. Where Pittsburgh is right now, because they have so many holes, you got to get rid of some of your best guys and get draft picks to fill it.
Well, either way, they got to get, I think, apparently the OC that they tried to replace, they replaced him with the worst one. And they're still with Kenny Pickett for 2 years, bro. So it is what it is.
Nah,
Tomlin just got to pick better assistant coaches.
They got to draft a quarterback this year. They're not beholden to Kenny Pickett.
That's
Yes.
doing too much.
That's not doing too much. That's doing what you got to do. Because we all know you're not winning shit with Kenny Pickett.
Now you need to fill some of those holes on the line.
But I was gonna say
I don't
because
think they
you're not
know
gonna win
that
shit. Even if you do
Shit.
draft the rookie QB, what is he gonna do against the AFC?
No, I understand that. But no matter what you do in all of those other gaps, you're not winning with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I don't think
I
you
don't
win with a
think
rookie
they know
QB
that
either.
I'm not.
I'm saying there's no difference.
No, there is a difference because with a franchise guy, even if there's a bad team around him, you should know this, is that you can still go further with a franchise guy, even if you have glaring holes offensively or defensively, because a franchise guy overcomes that. You know that. So don't sit here and act like we don't know that Joe Burrow ain't had no O-line since he's been in the league. Let's not sit here and act like he didn't get hurt previously, came back and made it to a Super Bowl.
You're telling me that a rookie QB coming into this AFC is going to be, just because he's in that
What
system,
I'm saying,
it's going to be better. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
No, that's not what I'm
Josh
saying.
Allen.
No, you're not.
better than Kenny Pickett.
No. What you're not doing is reading between the lines. I'm not saying that the rookie QB is going to beat all these guys year one. What I'm saying is if you want to eventually, in 2 to 3 years, really compete for a Super Bowl, you need to get the guy. And Kenny Pickett's not the guy.
He might be though. He doesn't.
No,
have the
hell no.
potential
Come
for us
on.
to talk about.
No. What glimpse have you seen?
He plays decent.
He won 9 games last year,
Yeah,
right?
there are glimpses
do
there,
just enough.
FIFO.
You got to.
There are glimpses there.
You got to protect
He's
him.
not special.
He do just enough.
He's
Nah,
not special.
there's some glimpses there.
Hell no.
Yeah, you got to protect
There are.
him.
There are.
just enough
I've
to fool
seen
you.
Yeah,
it.
you can't give up this
He's
quick.
better than Mitchell Trubisky, and that's about
No,
it.
I'm talking about in the games that I've watched him play in, because
He not
I'm
special.
not completely sold, but it's just
I'll take
something's
Derek
off.
Carr.
Yeah,
Hey, look,
One of you guys said
Look,
that.
if I'd rather take Derek Carr than you not winning no Super
Oh, bro,
Bowl.
Derek
I'd rather
Carr,
take
Derek Carr and Kenny Pickett probably about the same.
Hell
bro.
nah.
Yeah.
They about the same, bro.
Look at the numbers, nowhere near it.
They about to, yeah. One's been playing in the league way
I was
longer.
just about to say Derek Carr 10 years in, Kenny Pickett 2
They're
years.
the
Okay.
same guy.
They're not.
They're the same guy.
Not
Trust me.
at all, nowhere near it.
All right, up next, because it's a big game for me. We got the Cincinnati Bengals going to Arizona. Lou, I know you said you want to go some golf in there.
I struggled on this.
Let's see who picked what.
I struggled on this one. I ain't gonna lie.
Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, this is the week I take number one. This is the week I
got
take
it.
number
People,
one right
people,
here.
I think you do. I ain't gonna lie.
FIFA, you a punk ass nigga. I ain't gonna ask you shit.
No, I know. You better come to ask me something.
Ken, did
Hold
you
on.
make a pick?
I did. I was trying to get that in gaming set up, so I missed the deadline. Hold
Who
on,
you
let me
pick?
see what I sent them.
Before we the Cardinals.
I sent them Cincinnati.
So everybody picks Cincy, but
This is the
FIFA.
week I
Why
take
is that?
number
Why is
one.
that FIFA? Why are you being a
Because
hater?
look, man, Josh Dobbs has been playing out of his goddamn mind.
That sounds
Wait, did
funny,
y'all,
yeah.
disgusting.
did y'all see that Kyler Murray's not coming back this season?
Yeah,
That's
I knew
crazy.
that.
You see how much he hating?
didn't know that.
This nigga said Joshua Dobbs has been
Dobbs.
playing out of his mind.
He has.
He has.
He looks like Geno of last season. That's what he looks like.
He ain't winning like Geno last season.
They
ain't got
beat
Pete
they
Carroll.
beat the
He
Cowboys.
ain't got Pete
They beat the
Relax.
Cowboys now.
Relax. He ain't got Pete Carroll as coach. That's why he ain't.
No,
winning
I
that.
feel you. I feel you. I'm not saying that it's going to
He
be
good,
sustained
though.
success.
He good.
But what I'm saying is he came out of nowhere. He has a little bit more arm talent than what we remember. You know what I'm saying?
Making
And
good decisions too.
and he's making
Josh
really good
Dobbs
decisions.
is a good quarterback.
The ball has a lot more velocity than he has a lot more arm talent than I thought he
And
did.
he turned that receiver. I can't think his name. Number 14. The young dude. He's balling too. I can't think his name.
I'm bad with names. But look, here's the thing. I feel like this is. I already said Zach Taylor's on the hot seat. Joe Burrow isn't playing good. This is one of those games that the organization is going to look at and be like, we got to make a decision. They're not going to win this game. This is going to be franchise changing for your organization.
You are hilarious.
This is how you sound, by the way.
I know.
crazy.
I just want you to know this. When you get on these type of
I know.
takes,
I know.
crazy.
That's why I'm
Watch.
like.
I'm
that's why
taking
whenever-
number
that's why I
one
like-
overall
That's why I
this
like
week.
sitting opposite of him because he humbles me. He made me come
That
back
is
to earth.
insane.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm taking
As
number
your-
one.
I don't even
As your
want to. That's what
brother,
I'm saying.
that's
I don't want
crazy.
to.
Okay.
I didn't want to ask him nothing because I'm like, all right, you picked your side. We know what your
Franchise
side.
changing loss right here.
I'm just
You
saying
heard it
on this
first.
side that as far as the season is concerned and our playoff hopes, I'm just thinking with playoff hopes. I'm not even thinking about Super Bowl, nothing like that. Playoff hopes, we have to go 500 going into the bye, 3-3. So we got to win this game. We got to win against Seattle. Those are going to be two rough games because, like FIFA mentioned, Dobbs is
Seattle?
playing well.
Is it at Seattle?
I think
in
it's
Arizona.
It's
No,
it's
Seattle.
in Arizona.
we may
They're
be at
against
home.
Seattle.
It may be at home. Yeah, we may be at Cincinnati. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all might win that.
Depends. But Seattle's playing well as well, and Arizona's so far in all their games, I'm not sure in their last one, they've been leading in the fourth quarter or leading up to the fourth quarter.
Not this last one.
Not this last one. Okay, 3 out of 4 of that. This is just a huge game. It's a huge game, and then with T. Higgins being injured and him being on my fantasy, it's bad. It's a bad time to be a New York Cincinnati fan, whoever the fuck in between.
worse record than the Steelers. That's crazy.
All right, can we go move on with that? We're moving on with, as I mentioned earlier.
And Tomlin about to be fired.
Hey, Tomlin lose. If he get blown out 28-3 against Baltimore, hey, they gonna be saying they gonna ask for Omar Epps coming that motherfucker. The extra pick of the week. Shout out to the listeners. We appreciate y'all always commentating and contributing to the show. You guys are like a six-man of the show. We have Dallas versus the 49ers.
This should have been the first one.
I mean, this is their pick. I wanted the best for last.
Best, yeah.
I ain't saying for Dallas. I'm talking about for them. We have Dallas going to San Francisco to face the 49ers, a rematch of the last 2 years in the playoffs between these two teams, which the 49ers have been victorious. Lou.
Ask Lou first, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Dallas. Like, it ain't even a question. As long as we can score in the red zone, we're good.
Oh, really? So as long as you score points? As long as you score points, we're good?
I try to slide it in. King, I didn't expect you to bust out laughing. I thought he just
If
go
he
to the
wasn't
next
going to do it, I was right there.
I really thought you just go to the next pick and that wouldn't be a big thing.
Jesus, Lou. Is that the standard for the Cowboys? To score points?
In the red zone.
Okay.
As long as we score more
Our
than
defense
them.
as well, we struggle because we don't have a back that can really punch the ball in. Tony Pollard is good, but when you get in 20 and under, you need somebody that can really take those hits. You can give the ball to a couple of times, pause. We don't have that running back personnel that can like help us score touchdowns in the red zone. That's what I think the problem is.
What about you, Ken?
You sure you had Dallas, bro?
I got Dallas, absolutely. I don't know why that's San Francisco. I did. Jalen is fucking with me. He know damn well either you did that or Jalen did that. I know they tearing me up, and I can't even believe that's up there.
Yeah, because I did not.
Please
pick the
don't let
Cowboys.
that go. Don't
I did not
screenshot
pick the
that.
Cowboys.
Do not screenshot that. Do not take
Who did
any
you
other
pick?
thing
Who did you
from that.
pick,
I don't
Fifo?
want my
I picked
name
49ers.
affiliated with that at all. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I picked the 49ers, man.
So it's one off each way down.
Who you got, Ken?
Glock Purdy, bro. Hey, I'm telling you, bro. Hey, man. Yeah, y'all were talking shit when I was talking about Glock last year. Yeah. Hey, man, he doing his thing, bro. He's doing his thing. He's the an elite game manager, Nick.
Number one QBR in the league.
Hey, man.
They're perfect this
Brock
week.
Purdy.
Who did they play last week?
Number one QBR in the league.
Cardinals.
So that's a representation of Brock Purdy or Shanahan.
Shanahan. I'm with you on Shanahan.
Get that man Burrow,
Put him
see
in
what
a
happens.
position.
Get that man Burrow, see what
They
happens.
might not lose a game if he had Joe Burrow.
Come
He
on,
don't like
Damn.
good quarterbacks.
huh?
He don't like good quarterbacks.
I
so
understand. Hey, look,
he might not know what to do.
Yeah,
with
I
that
don't even know what he would do with a good quarterback. He loves shitball quarterbacks.
They'll run the
That
ball
ain't his
the whole
fault.
What do you mean ain't his fault? He picked him, didn't he? He ain't pick him?
No.
Oh, okay.
John Lynch picks the court. Like, he picks the team.
Okay, so we blaming everybody but Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think John.
And
Lynch
all I'm
picked the
saying is
team.
Kyle Shanahan is one of the better one of the better head coaches in the NFL, better than Zach Taylor
How is he better?
because he's doing more with less at quarterback.
Okay, at quarterback alone. That's why he always focuses on that quarterback. Everything else.
But no. You see, this is coming from the guy that when I asked him a direct question about head coaches, he wanted to include the quarterback in it. So now I'm including the quarterback, and now it's a problem.
I know he don't listen to me because I answer his questions. I just move on to the next one. I said, you asked me, who do you want between us? Like, I'll answer your question. I'll answer it. Here you go.
Okay.
Now let's move on to the next one. That's what you don't want to get to. But Sheldon, what do you got?
I got San Francisco.
I got Dallas,
They're
Lou.
at home, right?
Yeah, they're at home. I got Dallas, Lou. I'm with you. Only because.
No, that's a loss.
Only because.
I'm scared now. I ain't going to lie.
I'm only because I don't think the 49ers have placed anybody.
You hate Shanahan, though.
Wait, I don't think they faced
Like, it ain't
anybody.
much merit I could put to that because you just hate Kyle Shanahan.
No. It's not just because I would have picked the 49ers. I picked the 49ers last week or something like that. When they faced Arizona,
Who have they played this year?
Who?
They haven't played anybody to me.
Probably
the
nobody
49ers.
really.
Who have they played?
Dallas hasn't
49ers.
played anybody
Not Dallas,
either.
the 49ers, I meant.
Dallas hasn't played anybody either. They beat
who
the
has
Jets,
San
the
Francisco
Giants,
played?
and who else? Recently,
We
the
beat the
Nobody.
Giants,
the
the Jets.
Patriots.
We beat the Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots.
They ain't play-
All of them combined have 2 wins. If that.
49ers ain't really played anybody. Just the Rams, Cardinals, and Giants.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's
This
what
is
I'm
the
saying.
first
Man,
time we're
that's crazy.
seeing.
Yeah. This is the first big matchup of the
Who's fourth
season.
game they
actually.
played?
Steelers. They ain't
Oh,
played
yeah.
nobody,
They
bro.
ain't played
I said
nobody.
they haven't played anybody this year.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
closest
that's
game was the Rams.
That's
were the
why I'm
Rams.
saying the Dallas, because I think their defense is a little bit more scarier than the 49ers.
What team looks more consistent?
The 49ers overall as a team look more consistent because they do it on offense and defense.
Yeah, both sides.
But
of the ball.
I'm saying when Purdy, I'm as much as I don't think he is trash, I do want to see him against really, really good teams. And I think we didn't get to see that last year because of the injury. So this is a start to seeing that.
So this is why I disagree with your pick. And obviously your pick is you're going to pick the fucking Cowboys to win every week.
Absolutely.
And that's the absolutely wrong pick. The Cowboys struggle to stop what? The run. And what does Kyle Shanahan do the best? Run the damn ball. And not only run the ball, but be creative with play design and misdirection and motion. And what's going to happen is, to me, I like the Cowboys defense. They're fast. You know what I'm saying? They're aggressive. But a great play caller and play designer like Shanahan is going to toy with the eyes of those defenders, bro. And it's going to be very tough for them to stop the rock. Brock Purdy is just going to be efficient game manager. You know what I'm saying?
Elite.
If, you know, if Ken wants
I don't
to
know
use
what that
word.
means.
IU gonna be
I
tearing
have
them up.
no idea what that means.
If Ken wants to use that word, but I think that when it comes down to it, right? If Dak has the ball last,
There you
even
go.
they're not gonna win.
Hey, man,
They're just not
We
gonna
have to
win.
be in order to win the game. You're right. We have to stop the run, which is a concern. But we got to be ahead. Like it has to be that we're putting Brock Purdy in a position where he's got to throw the football and they got to make plays. It can't be they're dependent on the run. So,
But what's
Mike
going-
McCarthy has to call plays enough in the beginning to score.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. What you said earlier is head on to getting in the red zone, and that San Francisco
scoring.
team is going to be really tough to score.
is.
It's going to be tough to score touchdowns, and field goals is not going to get it done. Plus the fact Michael Parsons hurt his ankle this past week, so we don't know how.
I think he's gonna be okay. It's gonna depend on how if Dak can put the ball in the end zone.
My thing is
the
going to be this. When I look at the matchup on paper, I feel like 49ers can dictate offensively and defensively what they want to do. And it's going to be the Cowboys having to react to that. Where the other way around, I don't see it. I see the defense they can be disruptive, but then when it goes on the Cowboys offense versus that 49ers defense,
They're good enough to be. They're good enough. The Cowboys' offense is good enough to dictate what they want to do against the 49ers.
no.
But it depends on Dak. Like, which Dak are you going to get? You're going to get the Dak that showed up against the Cardinals, or you're going to get the one that showed up against?
I'll put it to you like this. Dak is going to get a lot of pressure, and Dak's going to have to make quick decisions.
I'll give you that. Well, I mean, I have no faith in Dak. You already know I gave it my Dak. My
Nobody
Dak fan of last season. But if this is the game to do something, this is the game to do something.
It's their Super Bowl.
Yes, facts. No, wait, relax.
I won't say this. This is his redemption
It's
for
a big game.
This is.
This is his
It's a
redemption.
big game. It ain't
This
our
is his
Super Bowl.
redemption for Arizona. If you have a loss to Arizona, but you beat the 49ers on the road, that kind of like it's his best game versus.
That's why I
And
said
the
it's
reason
their
I
Super
say
Bowl,
it's
'cause
not
they're
a
not
Super
making the
Bowl
Super Bowl.
because both of these teams plan on being there late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course, a win early would be great, but you don't want to put too much merit on that. And then in the playoffs, the 49ers beat you again for the third straight year.
Yeah, and a
That's
loss-
not what they want.
A
to
loss this week can also put you 2 down in the division, which can be a killer.
not really. Well,
I
against
mean,
the
yeah,
Eagles,
the
maybe.
Eagles ain't look good, so it don't matter.
All
they
right,
ain't got a
Ken.
good quarterback. So
We doing the whatchamacallit? The power ranking?
Yes. What happened to Spike Power?
Oh, you got my power rankings?
well, it wasn't on me this week.
Yeah, this week y'all got me this week
They
with
gave
my
Nick-
power
they gave
rankings.
Nick 2 weeks in a row. Cowboy bias.
Nah,
I don't even know why.
We didn't have a
It's
producer.
supposed to be me
We
this
didn't have a producer last week, so that's why it is.
supposed to be me this
My
week.
list changed for sure.
I know the Cowboys,
I
but
ain't got it, Nick.
You ain't got it
I'm pushing the button. He told me to push the button. It ain't here, but I was communicating with him.
either way. I'll read it off.
But
I'll
Aaron,
That's
ain't
okay. We'll
keep
need it.
popping up.
Boy.
that's all right. We can go ahead.
Now my power rankings that I sent to Jalen. Shout out to Jalen. He's doing his best. We doing too much. We got to pay him under the table a little bit. For going into week 5, my power rankings list starting from number 5, I have the Miami Dolphins. At number 4, I have the Buffalo Bills. Number 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. And number 1, I have the 49ers.
Man, how? How you got the Chiefs at 2?
I have the Chiefs at 2 because in adversity, at the end of the day,
How are the Cowboys not on that list?
don't
Because the
see how the
Cowboys.
Chiefs get so much
what's the most
respect.
impressive win the Cowboys have had?
All three of the.
He said all three?
All three.
I'm just asking.
Pick any one of the three.
What's the most impressive win the Chiefs had?
The Chiefs have beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road.
Oh, my
They had
gosh.
a comeback victory against the Jets.
Jalen, don't take his picks.
That's
no more.
terrible.
Take mine.
That's terrible for the
Jalen,
Jets.
do not
even.
take
They-
his picks
they-
anymore.
they-
That's it.
The
they-
Jets should have
last
not
week.
even been in that game.
They blown out the Chicago Bears.
We should have a rule. If you are under 500 picking games,
You shouldn't
you
get the
can't
pick.
do
can't do a power
ranking.
ranking.
This is my
You can't.
power rankings going into week 5.
But
They
your
the
shit
number
wrong.
2 team in the
Just like your
league.
record.
the number 2 team. You think the Eagles?
I don't care. I don't even care if it's not the Eagles.
just
It
like your
ain't
record.
Kansas City.
I-
Kansas City.
I believe it's
let's take
Kansas
the
City.
Eagles out. Kansas City is not above Buffalo. There's no way you can put them above Buffalo. Buffalo has beaten.
Kansas City is
Buffalo has beaten the team on
Kansas
this
City
list
is literally 1 point away,
Bro.
from being undefeated.
against trash.
What do you mean against trash?
They ain't playing nobody
the,
this
the
year.
Lions are not trash.
I'm saying they ain't
It
playing
ain't-
nobody else.
It ain't
the
no way
Lions ain't
Dallas
in
not
the
a top 5 team.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, you said they're gonna beat the Buffalo Bills.
I do think they're gonna
So
be
they-
there,
are
but
they
but
trash?
they weren't. They're not in this ranking yet. You can't
I'm
put them up
just
there.
saying, like,
the Bills
they've-
smashed the Dolphins,
they-
who's number 5. So there's no way you can have
Dolphins
Kansas
came
City.
down. Dolphins came down to earth because the Dolphins ain't playing
It's a
nobody.
hater list. I just want you
Right,
to know that.
but you got.
And I trust. And between those two, I'm trusting. Again, I'm going off of where these are going trajectory.
But you just said Kansas City ain't got no. They don't have nothing.
I
They're
said
trash.
I said in that rant, I said I'm not worried about them doing anything. I'm just saying moving forward offensively, I think that they need to pick it up. They need to get better in the offseason. I said that in the beginning of the season, early on, and I'm still saying that now. That doesn't mean that they ain't got Patty Mahomes and Andy Reid that's gonna win games.
They're nowhere near the number 2 team in the league right now, though.
We'll
You
see.
think they're gonna make it back to the Super Bowl?
Based on how the Bengals playing, yeah.
Based on-
So the Bengals are the only one in the
based
way.
on how the
That was my
Bengals-
Super Bowl pick. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I was about to say.
Super chat.
All right. Well, how about that? Well, there you go.
yeah. Who wants to vote on that rule? I say aye. Yeah.
Watch people come here next week. Gonna be down, and it's gonna be his week to pick, and I'm gonna be like, take his mic away, kid.
All I know, ever since we've been picking games, I've never been below 500. I know that.
Never.
Never.
All right, we'll
All
see.
right, let's
You
get
got
into
the
these-
records?
Let's get into these super chats. Long live Kevin Samuels. Who are some NFL players that were cheats back in the day, but if they played in today's game, they would be stars? For example, DeAnthony Thomas.
What did he do that was such a
Who is
cheat code?
These niggas be just
Play
saying
with the
anything.
Chiefs, right?
I don't know.
He was what back in the day?
Cheeks, back in the day.
Oh,
Cheeks.
cheeks.
Yeah.
I thought you
heard
said Cheeks.
cheeks.
I thought you
Me
said
too.
cheeks.
Like I was gonna say Bill Romanowski, but then you said that would be
Yeah.
getting out.
I
right?
get it. I
Cheeks.
get it. I get it.
Okay, cheeks.
Let me think.
Who was trash back in the day, but will be a star now.
What was the little dude from the Chiefs that used to return punts?
Dante Hall.
Dante X?
Dante Hall. Dante Hall would be good today.
Man, that's a tough one.
Cordell Stewart also would be good today.
But he wasn't cheeks though.
He wasn't cheeks, but he would be better.
Yes, he was.
He would be
No,
better.
he wasn't.
He would be better today than he
Yes,
is.
he was.
Yes, he was.
He flashed.
He wasn't.
Yeah, he
good.
had like a 3-year run,
And then it was
that was
done.
it.
He
No,
would
I
be-
give you that.
He would be better today.
The,
Yeah, he
the
would be better
Steelers
today.
never have really had good quarterbacks once
Ben.
old boy left.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger.
And that was really it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Y'all remember that? Neil O'Donnell?
Bubby
people
Brister,
love
Neil O'Donnell.
Charlie Batch.
Yeah, Charlie Batch. They haven't really had good quarterbacks. They kind of going back to that now.
Yeah.
Charlie Batch.
Jamarcus Russell.
There you
No.
go, Ken. There you go.
still be tried.
He had everything, bro. He just
Vince
didn't put in the
Young.
work.
He got one of the best.
Vince
Vince
Young.
Young is a really
Vince
good one.
Young. And here's the thing, though. Let's be honest. His whole career was cheeks, but his run wasn't cheeks.
Yeah.
It was Jeff Fisher that.
It was Jeff
it was
Fisher.
Jeff
It was.
Fisher.
It
And we
was
found,
Jeff
but we
Fisher.
found that out later when he was with the head coach of the
100%
Rams.
with
And
Jared
then,
Goff.
That's crazy how much a coach can change your whole career.
100%.
Yeah.
Vince Young probably would have had a long career if it wasn't for Jeff Fisher.
Rob Costa, top of the evening, everyone. FIFO, big thanks to your historic Dolphins offense for allowing me to go home at the end of the third quarter on Sunday.
He went to the game.
The Buffalo Stadium was rocking. Oh, that's dope, bro. You went to the game.
48
Yeah,
to
he was
20.
at the game.
It happens, man. It happens.
Alex Hayes, I know Ken is cheesing that Deion lost again. LOL. Spike, what the Cowboys going to do at QB? We know Dakota ain't it. Nick, turn in the New York Giants fan card.
We didn't talk about them. God, no.
I mean,
Why do I gotta turn in my fan card? I have been
Nick had
consistent with
16.
the Giants. I told y'all, like, I'm not talking about them niggas.
your
Until
boys.
they get rid of Daniel Jones, I'm
Danny
cool.
Deficit.
Until they get rid of
Man,
that
he looked
nigga.
like he was about to cry on the sidelines one time.
You know, he
literally
won.
and
said
it's the Giants' fault. It's the Giants'
1
fault.
7 in primetime.
1 and 12.
It's-
1 and 12. 1 and
It's
12.
it's the
And-
Giants'
and
fault.
he's 0 for 7 on Monday Night Football.
That's what it is. 1 and 12.
He looks like
He's-
a loser.
That's
And they've had
0
three-
I don't know who they beat. I'm like,
They've had
who the
3
fuck?
primetime games already.
Against the Cowboys, I ain't even.
They're 0-3 this season in primetime games, and they've had 3 of them, which is crazy. But also,
they've been
this is
outscored at home.
it's like 70-6 or something, 70-9 or something like that. But my thing is this: that if they would have picked up his 5th-year option, this would have been a year that we would have had to evaluate Daniel Jones, and then if we wanted to re-sign him. But since we didn't pick it up, we had to pay him last year, which is why we're in this fucking mess now with a
Brian-
QB that we can't. We're in a situation where it doesn't even make sense to draft a QB.
Brian Dayball's response to him talking to him, bro, that was priceless.
What was it?
They let you know everything. Like he showed him on the iPad. He was like, bro, this is what you did
see that
wrong.
dumb shit you-
And he was talking to Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones still didn't get. He like threw the iPad and walked off. He was like, fuck it, bro. Like I can't do nothing with you. It was like,
Oh no! He can't talk now though.
yeah, I
He
mean,
can't talk after last year, nah, bro.
But it looked like Ken in that moment. He was like, damn, I fucked up.
Okay.
I don't even know why I thought this dude was good.
Stephen A. Spliff, CJ, I gotta find this clip.
got
CJ would be better than Bryce and Caleb Williams. CJ, bro, I still got to see
ballin'.
more, but he looking
He
CJ
may
steady.
break that. He may
I
break
like
that
CJ.
Ohio State curse.
He's
He look
looking
good.
steady.
He looked good.
Yeah.
He's super solid. 1,212 yards and no interceptions so far.
Who was hating on CJ? Was it Manny?
Manny was saying, I was.
He
saying-
had to give him credit.
I hated on him a little bit too.
Is that a
Yeah.
little bit of Frank Wright in there too? Ain't he in Carolina? Frank Wright?
No, Frank
Yeah.
Wright is in.
He's in Carolina.
He's in Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit of him? Well, they were saying he was quarterback whisperer. They said he was.
They said Bryce had the best
Frank
QB room.
They said that he was the reason that the quarterbacks would be good going back to Indianapolis. That's why he got the job there with Andrew Luck.
Bryce,
Oh,
bro,
yeah.
Bryce. Green Beans. Peter King says Shador right now would make a better NFL QB than Caleb. Don't you listen to Peter King,
Yeah,
bro?
they just.
I heard
man,
him.
they-
I heard that interview that he didn't say that. He said that he was just as good a prospect as Caleb Williams. He
I
said
can agree
he's
with that.
Yeah, he said based off and he did disclaim it. He said, I'm not a college scout. I don't know anything about college quarterbacks. It's the first college football game I've seen. He said that Shador Sanders to him looks like a first round pick.
So then his comment is a fart in the wind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude brought it up.
Arterial Stover. So FIFA are wondering if the Bills are still going to implode. I love to see you explain yourself now.
Hey, I love it.
Hey,
I love it.
Look. Diggs is making some plays. He's getting the ball. Josh Allen has been less turnover prone the last couple of weeks. I didn't anticipate that. I anticipated more in it being a snowfall. And we know that once a quarterback kind of has a little bit of the ips, a little bit of, hey, I'm not performing where I'm supposed to perform. Because we know that is a confidence. You have to have confidence playing that position. You know what I'm saying? And just looking at his body language on the field, a couple of those games, it looked like, I don't know if he got the juice. He found the juice. He's getting the ball to Diggs. Diggs making plays. As long as that's happening, they're going to be all right. But I was questioning how consistent was that going to be happening. So we'll see. I think it's still to be seen because I think it could still happen. But right now, after the last two games, they look good. Josh Allen looked like the MVP. He looked like the 4th best quarterback that I put him on my list. He looked like that. But we'll see how many more weeks it looks like that.
Detroit Lions, Tracy G, members chat, Detroit Lions looking good.
I was trying to tell B.
Yeah.
B don't want to hear that shit until,
Nah,
until they win. I don't even think they can get to the Super Bowl. He got to see them win it.
Yeah. Tracy G again. I am now calling cap on Mike Tomlin. He and Bill Belichick and Justin Fields out of the league.
Dang, man.
Hey man, everybody has their
How
day,
did
bro.
Justin Fields get in the category with them?
Well, shit.
got
He
people
fuck
on
around.
They got
he
a
fuck
way
around-
better
he
resume
fuck,
than
He
Justin
fuck around,
Fields.
be out the league after this season.
Should the Bears contact Cap since right now he better than nothing?
No.
Nah.
Man, they brought in it's a old ass quarterback that got a job, bro. Nah. This team started a rookie. O'Donnell was the name over this guy. Everybody know him, bro.
The Raiders, O'Connell.
Yeah, the Raiders. So it was whoever their backup is. I'll have to look it up. But he's like they called him over Cap, bro.
Yeah, Cap's done. I don't know why he even.
Yeah,
asked him.
it's over. Bob's is the Burrow has less touchdowns than Dobbs, Zach Wilson, Mayfield, Justin Fields, and Jimmy G. Using Nick's logic, is it time to have a conversation about Joe?
We have a conversation every week about the Bengals, right? Even with or without me, y'all. So that don't act like we need to have a. We don't do a spotlight. Yeah, we don't need that. I'll bring it up my damn self. Like I said, we got to go 3-3. Otherwise, the season's done.
Brian Hoyer.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wow. It's not time to have a conversation. The man hurt. Was Cam and Mace and Betha too hard on Chris Paul?
I didn't hear what they said.
Yeah,
What did they say?
I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that too. I don't know. I
But
don't know if she wrote that in as a pause thing or what.
No. Oh yeah, that gotta be a
I
pause.
don't know. But yeah, I have to see that. Alice A. Start, bench, cut, toilet bowl edition. Dak, Jimmy G, Baker, Tomlin, Bill, Sean Payton. Who gets fired first? There's two questions.
Do the first one. Yeah.
Start, bench, cut, toilet bowl edition. Dak, Jimmy, or Baker?
You gonna start Baker?
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
If we going off just this year? 'Cause
Yeah.
Baker balling
He's
right
quiet
now.
and he's just playing
He's
football.
You
getting
said start Baker. Who you benching?
I'm benching Dak.
And you cutting Jimmy G?
Yes, sir.
Are we all cutting Jimmy G?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we all cutting Jimmy. I'm starting Dak. And
I'm
benching
cutting Baker Mayfield. I'm cutting Baker Mayfield. Jimmy G is my backup, and Dak is my starter.
I'm
Based
cutting
on-
Jimmy.
Based off this year?
Based off the career, Baker
We
Mayfield
talking
right
about
now.
the career. We talking
We
about
just
the
talking
career
about
that's
right now.
different. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm
just
still
talking about
taking
this
Jimmy
year.
G. I still take Jimmy G.
I'm taking. Baker's been doing well in Tampa.
Dak would never start for any one of my teams. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Baker is in the perfect situation for him because there's no pressure, there's no expectations. Everybody expected this team to be trash.
Do you ever want to say that about your quarterback?
No,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
thing
But
is,
it's where they are.
Yeah.
Because they're coming off of
Yeah,
Tom
he ain't
Brady.
my quarterback, but that's true.
They're coming off of Tom Brady.
well, yeah, and I think the thing is, like, he's removing that pressure on him because he
Yeah.
ain't talking stuff. So that helps. So, yeah, I'm with you. Second part, Tomlin, Bill, Sean Payton, who gets fired first?
Sean Payton probably.
Sean Payton.
Oh no, you can't fire him first because he came there last. That's the
It
only.
don't,
That's
it,
the only
it
reason.
don't matter if
been
he
the
go
worst.
if they win only like 2 to 3 games this season, he's getting fired first.
In a hypothetical situation, yeah, but he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. I was gonna say hypothetical because
Russell
because
Wilson
he
will
just
go
fired
before
the
he
other
does.
quarterback.
Huh?
Russell Wilson will go
They'll get
before
a
he
new
does.
quarterback and
That's a lot of money they gotta owe him
Don't
though.
matter.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a football team.
Yeah.
You can spend money. It's
Yeah, they're not gonna blame the coach first.
Tweets open doors. Which QB coach duo is the worst? Dabble, Jones, Belichik, Mack, or Tomlin, Pickett? Which one do you think could turn it around this season?
Which three?
Dayball, Jones, Tomlin, Pickett, and Belichick, Mack.
I say
Jones.
Belichick.
Daboll and
Mack.
Jones is the worst.
I say
because Jones
Belichick
is the
and
worst
Mack.
quarterback.
I say Belichick and Mac. Mac Jones looked terrible.
But
The one
not
that
as
crossed
bad
body
as
for the
Daniel Jones.
interceptions.
Not
The
as bad.
worst loss that Bill Belichick has ever had in his career. Like, yeah.
But that was one game. He played good against Philly. He played good in the other game. What's the other game?
He's had some good
Yeah,
games.
he's had
he's
good
had
games.
more. He's had
Daniel
better games
Jones
than
had-
I
Daniel
think
Jones.
I think
Nothing this year.
I think Dayball and Jones is one because
think
he's coming
Daboll is-
because Jones' best season was what 15 touchdowns and 6 picks or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, to me it's Dayball and Jones only because I'm not questioning Dayball. I'm questioning
Completely.
Danny Dimes, or Danny Deficit, because ain't nothing he could do.
Danny
And we know that that's a quarterback whisperer. We know that. So it ain't him. It's the quarterback. So
And they paid this motherfucker.
Yeah, you flip your tablet on him. Like once
Yeah.
again, I can't get over that.
He's a 10th. I think he's a top 12 or 10th
That
highest
was
paid
priceless.
player.
I can't believe you paid that dude.
Yeah, that's
How many
insane.
years? It was a
Off
3-year
of one
deal,
good
right?
year,
So
bro.
I think it was like a 4. It was an
And it
extension.
It wasn't
Good
4.
year.
I think it was 3.
It was an extension
It
on
was
this
average
year.
Average year at best.
Yeah, they're based on what the coach were able to do. Tracy G, Nick is right for once. Tomlin is on the hot seat. The Ninja ain't won in 10 years.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you.
That's the only person on your side, bro.
Ask Pittsburgh. Ken don't like going to the streets of Pittsburgh. He only talked to his brother-in-law over there, who always give him the nice side of things.
Nah, keep it real.
I know.
I haven't
fans,
talked to him this year yet.
I know Steelers fans are upset that not only because Pittsburgh fans don't like Ohio at all. So the fact they lost to Ohio State quarterback at home.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him this season yet. But it's.
Oh, no,
it's
it was on the road.
It's
It
time
was
to
on the
check
road.
in. It's time to check in. I'll check in and see where we at. But yeah, I don't think he hasn't been too thrilled either. So I mean, he don't care if Tomlin can go. He just want to win.
Yeah.
So
That's how all
They're
Pittsburgh
still
fans
optimistic though in Pittsburgh, believe it or not.
So Tracy G, I'm gonna need y'all to put some respect on Jalen Hurts' name. At the end of the day, he was at the Super Bowl and played lights out. None of y'all's team played in the Super Bowl. He's a hell of a player in the story.
Thank you, Tracy.
Tracy, did your team play in the Super Bowl? Are you an Eagles or a Chiefs fan? I don't know.
And you had a team. One of your teams played in the Super Bowl.
We did, and we lost just like Jalen.
So I don't have a team, so it don't matter to me. So I can hate all I want. Jordan House. After the fumble, the Eagles were up 24-14. Yep, Shelton said that. Saying Jalen cost them the game and not the defense is revisionist history. Well, how many points they scored in the second half?
That's what happened. They had the momentum. They were going to put the game away, and he fumbled.
No, they did not.
How many points they scored in the second half?
The only reason why I put the fumble on him, Sheldon, is because it was an unforced fumble. The defender didn't even touch him or anything. He just dropped the fucking ball.
And then he came back after that. My thing is,
He came back. When you say
He
came
came
back, what do
back
you mean?
after that and lost.
came back and took the lead after
He
that.
lost.
He didn't take no lead after
Yes,
that.
he did. They
He
were up
lost.
10 after the fumble.
He lost.
That's the point. They were up 24-14.
They lost. They lost.
11 points. Yeah, they only put up 11 points.
Yes, 11 in the second half.
So, yeah, I mean, shit, the Eagles' defense, yeah, they got carved up. They
did, and blame the
but you can't.
Carter Johnson was like the turf. He blamed the turf on the defense's ineptitude.
You should have blamed Bradbury for getting burnt by Juju.
That's the biggest issue.
You
right
put
there
up
was Bradbury.
24 and you can't score, so Jalen did a good job in the first half. The second half, not so much.
He still scored 11.
Off of a tush push.
That should be still enough, right? 35 points, regardless, in most games is enough to win the game.
It should be, but
Especially with the number 2 defense. And
scoring 30 points should win you a game if you got a good
Yeah,
defense.
but I'm sure he could have used that extra touchdown that he gave up.
Oh yeah, no.
Salami got.
I'm not taking it off him.
But nah, he did his thing. I mean, statistically, you can't argue statistically what he did, but
when it comes
I mean,
to
it's
wins,
there.
but hey, Ken, it's a short menu at the restaurant we go to, boy. It's wins and losses, bro. Them stats is just sides.
Yeah, the appetizers were good, huh?
Yeah, appetizer was good as fuck, boy. That blooming onion. But the waiter fumbled the drinks. Fucked up the whole night. Spilled the drinks all over me. I couldn't even go. I couldn't even go home happy.
Oh man.
Salami got you. Business moves were made in that KC Jets game. Yeah, that.
I seen a lot of
That
people
was
saying
some
that because
horrible-
it was a couple questions, but
That was some
that call
horrible-
on Sauce, it was a few calls in there.
Sauce held, but my thing is, they were like, it seems I've been looking at these games against the Chiefs, but the refs be holding their whistle when it comes to the Chiefs when it comes to close games.
It still wasn't that bad to me. I've seen lesser plays not get called.
I mean,
I didn't think they
it's
were
a
gonna
regular
call
season
And
game.
that was interception, one of the many that Patrick threw in that game.
It was a regular
so.
season game. You don't put the game into the refs' hands, and also Zach Wilson fumbled. So
Yep, he had a shot. For the Giants and Steelers, do y'all think fixing the O-lines will solve their problems? Also, Nick Waller may not be a top 5 tight end no more. Man, I'm looking at my whole tight end list and be like, God dang.
who
bro.
is it? Who is a
Ain't
top five?
none of
I'm
ain't
about to say, who
nobody.
is it?
It's Travis Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey.
And Mark
Dylan. Yeah, Mark Andrews.
I'll give you Mark Andrews. It's just Travis and Mark. That's it.
Ain't nobody else doing nothing.
Kyle Pitts is a bust.
Trash.
Ain't nobody. Even Dallas Goedert with the Eagles. Ain't none of them
Dawson
doing
Knox
nothing.
got paid for no reason in Buffalo.
They're not doing nothing.
Who else is a tight end? Greg, what's his name? Greg Kittle? George Kittle?
George
Whatever the
Kittle
fuck.
ain't doing nothing.
I'd rather have Kettle corn than George Kittle.
The third best one, and it's not saying a lot, is Evan Ingram in Jacksonville.
The nigga who can't catch?
He's more of a wide receiver. He's a hybrid.
I'm not saying he's not, but I'm,
Gesicki in Miami been all right.
No, Gesicki's not in Miami anymore. I don't know where he went to, but he's not in Miami.
What Gesicki?
T.J. Hawkinson, somebody mentioned.
He is.
Yeah, in 512. Yeah, Sam Laporta is doing.
I thought
his thing,
Laporta
too.
was a receiver.
Nah, he's a tight end in Detroit, bro.
Mike?
I snatched him up on my fantasy team. So yeah, he's doing
Yeah,
well.
he doing
But
all
yeah,
right.
But what was the question, Ken? Whose O lines would
solve their problems. Giants and Steelers.
The Steelers
Neither
more
one
so
of
than-
them.
The Steelers more so than
Steelers will have a
Steelers.
better. If Steelers had a better O line because they lost. Then they lost the brothers.
They've been
Yeah,
lost.
they
to.
Yeah, they lost the brothers to the retirement. They were both retired. I know they
been
were
lost them.
sick when that happened.
But it honestly it's not going to change much. It's not going to elevate Kenny Pickett.
A clean pocket will elevate any
it would.
It elevates any
if he
quarterback.
had a little bit more time.
Y'all are shooting Kenny Pickett too much bad.
Don't we
I
not?
ain't shooting him shit.
Yeah.
We
saying
sat
he's
here and
not
just
bad,
said like
bro.
we were like
not
I came here early in the season. I told y'all the Steelers was gonna be shit ball. Y'all ain't want to listen
I
to
picked
me.
them to win the division.
Well, that's just your. I mean, we used to you making bad picks.
But we're just saying that if you give him a whole line, he will be able to play better.
Don't let that man talk to you like that. Don't let that man talk to you like that.
That'll roll right, exactly. End of the
FIFO,
list.
I am
Nick.
a macro level analyst.
Stop.
The micro meaning, the game to game shit, I may get that wrong. I take that on the chin.
Next.
The macro shit.
No, you
that
get
I'm
the
talking-
player shit wrong. You get the game to game. You get it just wrong, Nick.
Two more. Bears could have 2 top 5
It
thoughts.
still ain't gonna help.
2 top 5 picks.
And it's not gonna be Caleb or
Still
Marlon
ain't
because
gonna
they
help
both gonna say like they gonna call each other. Like, you want to go to
They ain't gonna-
Chicago?
Still ain't
Hell
gonna
nah.
help
They ain't gonna-
Click.
Yeah, because they got Carolina's first for trading the first pick to Carolina. They're gonna have their first pick,
Chicago
which may
would
be
be
the number 1 pick.
sick if Caleb said no.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
So they can have the number 1 and number 2 pick.
What
I pick bookie and tackles.
So here's the
Well,
thing.
guards now.
I feel like this. I feel like one of those picks they should move down in the draft, get more first round picks if
Both
they
of
can. Not both of them. Trade Justin Fields.
Still draft Harrison.
It's still draft a quarterback. Still draft another weapon. Draft an O line. Like one of them picks they got to move down, and Justin Fields is going to yield you something. You know what I'm saying? If you was able to get off of Trey Lance and get a 4-4, you can get off of. At this point, you know I've been in Trey area. It ain't nothing no more. Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Trey Lance. Trey Lance got you a 4th round pick. You can get 2/3 for Justin Fields.
How many recyclable QBs are you gonna give the 49ers before you realize it's Kyle Shanahan?
If Justin Fields go 0-16 this year, they're gonna get a.
Brock
Fifth
Purdy's
round.
gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine.
They literally found him at the end of the recycling bin.
All right. Has the season changed? We have one more coming in. Has the season changed the debate Bryce versus Stroud?
Stroud that guy.
Yeah.
We gotta
Bryce
see.
Young?
I gotta see the whole
Stroud
season.
is that guy.
Stroud
I
is
gotta
the
see
guy.
the whole season, bro.
Yeah,
We only
Bryce
in week
Stroud is
5.
that
No,
guy.
I
I
still
go
would say Stroud.
I go
And
Stroud
the
right
reason being is the physical capabilities, the leadership abilities at this point. He just looks like a better quarterback.
It's
I
Pass
watched
the
both
eyeball
of them.
test,
It's
bro.
still early. It's only 4
Yeah.
weeks in. He won 2 games back to back.
Hey,
Now we saying
I put it to you like this.
he the next to come in.
CJ Stroud better than Kenny Pickett. I know that. I know that after 3 games.
Those numbers look amazing. They look impressive.
They do. But again, we got to see the rest of the season.
once
Bro. Y'all
again,
be ready to crown motherfuckers too early.
No. We just
We're
talking
not
about
saying
out
he
of
the
those
greatest
2.
ever.
Yeah,
He looked
just-
good.
we
No,
just-
I'm saying Bryce could have a hell of a second half.
Nah.
He not CJ Stroud, bro.
Yeah, he's still
too
undersized.
He's a look. The difference in those 2 guys, number 1 is the level of
Size.
physicality.
Physical
Number
stature.
2, CJ Stroud is more advanced right now in being able to feel and read the defense. Now, I'm not saying he's out here reading the defense like he Peyton Manning year 7. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in comparison to the other quarterbacks in this draft, primarily Bryce Young, he's a couple of steps ahead of him. And that gap is only going to get bigger because Bryce hasn't taken – I haven't seen
He's broken records.
Huh?
He's set records already.
But Bryce ain't doing himself any favors, and neither is the coaching. So
Yeah,
he don't look good at all.
CJ's the guy.
Last one. We need to start talking about the Ravens' health.
I mean, what else can we
Yes,
say? They
they do.
fired their whole
It's-
medical
they
staff.
did.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
the
what it
players.
is.
It's
It's
the
Baltimore
players.
at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what it
It's
is.
the players.
What else can they do, man?
Change the
Because
turf, maybe.
OBJ hurt.
Yeah,
Well, that's not
it's-
saying
it's-
Robbins got hurt.
Bateman is hurt. Dobbs.
JK
It's
Who
else-
every year though.
Who else?
It's
Somebody else
every
got
year.
hurt too.
Yeah, they got a ton of injuries. Right
Gus
now.
Edwards just came off of injury. Yeah, it's
It's a ton.
I don't know what like. What can you pinpoint? Like you just said like
Fired the staff.
but they already fired the whole medical staff.
Yep.
It can't be coaching. Like
It can be.
how?
Not as far as
Because it's not like
injury.
they're practicing
It's some type of conditioning. Not like, come on, bro. Every team don't deal with injuries like
They need
this.
to do
The only other
yoga.
team is San Fran, and I don't know why, but they do.
Nobody's this bad though.
But nobody's as bad as
Yeah,
bad.
that's what I'm saying.
It's the
Last year,
worst,
the last
period.
couple years, they lost half their squad.
yeah,
I don't
this been
understand.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we thank you guys for all the super chats. We had a lot tonight, so
Appreciate y'all, man.
yeah, we really appreciate it. Up to 20. So
Oh, Thursday. Let them know what game.
Yep. So next week we are doing the viewer's choice, the Broncos versus the Chiefs. We will be watching that one live here at the studio. So that is our game of the month for this month, and it was picked by Reddit.
Yeah,
Reddit.
Thread.
So Reddit. Yep.
I posted for November this Sunday, and then y'all have the chance to vote on it by the Thursday night game that we have for next week. So we'll know what game we're gonna pick watch for November. But yeah, appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, but it's already scheduled, so it's on the channel. Just head over to the homepage and hit the link to get a reminder.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys Tuesday and then Thursday. And no, we're not watching Taylor Swift, but we did talk about Taylor Swift on Is the Mic Still On, so make sure you guys check that out. It was a riveting conversation. So we'll check you guys out next time. We are out. Peace.
Peace.